Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans for the Split 2 action of Season 23, Round 2 at a Mount Panorama Bathurst here this evening. I'm your commentator, Hamish Munro, joined once again by the great man himself, Brett Fisher, alongside, and I do apologise, Brett, I know you asked me to change it, and I've just realised I forgot to, so we're not going to show the graphic, what you asked me the other day, so... Okay. I will get that changed for the next time that you're on stream. I do apologise. I've had a lot on. I will be honest with you, the last few days. But
there, I did some race calling there as well, but it was probably about 12, 13 years ago now that I actually probably even more, probably closer to 15 years. So I just didn't want to confuse people, say, oh, who's that bloke? You know, well, why has he got that? I don't know him. So I just want to straighten that out and say, yeah, no, all good, all good.
It's all good. We will get it changed for next week, and it's going to be changed to no, not Damon. So that's just going to confirm that one for us, pretty much. But we welcome you all watching along with us here this evening, whether you're watching over on the V8 Veterans channel or you're watching with us on the Infinity Broadcasting channel as well. We are simultaneously casting on both this season. So if you're watching on the Vets channel, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well. If you're watching on Infinity Broadcasting, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well, because, you know, there's so much racing action to come. You know, on the Vets channel side of things, we've still got more Split 3, Split 4 action on this channel, as well as Split 1 over on SimSpeed and then on Infinity Broadcasting. You get both this series and the Monday Night VRS Porsche Cup Series as well. So both channels with so much content to offer for you, so much iRacing content, so be sure to support both the series and the broadcast as well by clicking that little subscribe button. We'd much appreciate it. Brett, though, Bathurst, the most famous Australian racing circuit, the most famous Australian street racing circuit as well. One that's been around for many, many years. It lives in infamy pretty much. And it's one that test drivers, no matter when you come here, whether it's for GT racing at the Bathurst 12 hour, whether it's production car racing for the Easter weekend Bathurst 6 hour, which is coming up very, very shortly, or it's for the Bathurst 1000 in September/October, or even if it's just an iRacing event like this one tonight, 250 Ks, 4 splits of over 40-year-old drivers racing around in Gen 3 supercars for a bit of fun, but also for a bit of ego as well. I think we can say it's a circuit that really provides that. It's got that magic about it. It's got that electricity. It's one that when you rock up here, whether it's in a real racing car, whether it's as a spectator, or whether it's in the sim, you feel the pressure that this place applies to you. And it's one that you've got to bring respect with it. You've got to respect this place, because if you don't, it will bite you hard, and it will bite you in the worst of ways.
It certainly does. Bathurst is a synonymous track all around the world, and I tell you what, it tests everyone, as we were just saying there, Hamish. It is a real pressure cooker. Whether you put your pressure on yourself to try and get around this track cleanly and have a good race and stuff like that, or whether the mountain just bites you, and it can bite hard. And I'm sure we'll see tonight that it's going to do all sorts of things. And as we are in for a treat, I'll tell you now, we've got some good racing coming.
We do indeed. Let's have a quick look at our Google Earth track map here, provided to me by Jay over at SimSpeed. Much appreciated to Jay for giving me these images once again this season. Not too far east of Sydney, or not too far west of Sydney, I should say. About 3-hour drive from the Sydney CBD. It's a circuit that, it's in the middle of nowhere. It is technically a street circuit, but it's one that carries so much history with it. So many legends have been created at this circuit, and I feel so many more are going to be created here this evening as well. It all starts on the main straight, and then it's the not too far run up towards turn 1 at Hell Corner on the race start. Your first big test of the lap, trying to get the car turned in as tightly as possible, trying to get the power out of that corner to get the run up mountain straight. Very easy to run it wide, very easy to get the rear to come round on you. We know that these cars like to run on that sort of rear slip angle. You get a little bit too much of that through turn 1, and the car's going to be coming around straight away, and you're going to be facing the wrong way and thinking, what the hell just happened? But if you can get through turn 1 nice and cleanly, you can run yourself up the mountain straight towards turn 2 at Griffins, and this is the next major test. Now, some notable things that we've seen throughout the years at this part of the circuit. Who can forget 2007, Mark Scaife bogs it off the start. As he runs up the straight with about 4 cylinders in that HRT Commodore, Jack Perkins comes over the crest and bang, drills the back of him. Nowhere to go at that moment in time. Could we see a similar scenario tonight in the sim? We've seen many a blow-ups on this mountain straight. It's a section that, even though it's only a straight bit of road here, Brett, it's one that will throw out its little tests. But if you can get the run up the hill, get the maximum pace in, you can set yourself up well at Griffins to maybe even get an overtake done if you've got the cojones to send it up there.
Oh, yeah, and that is where, for those who watched the ASR race the other night, it was full on around that corner. I'll tell you what, Griffin's been through it all out at those competitors in that server, and I tell you now, it's probably going to do the same for us as well. And then we've got up to the cutting. I think you mentioned the cutting there. So the cutting is another really technical and very difficult section of the track too, to get it in there nice and tidy and come out quickly as you start and go up over the top of the mountain.
Yeah, there's the real balancing act of, do you hold third and rev it out up towards 3 and 4, or do you go up to 4th and save a little bit of fuel as you run up through that corner as well? Tough little braking zone, very easy to get overlapped with some drivers, but if you're willing to send it and there's a bit of room given to you from the outside car, you can get a job done up the inside. But as you come round 4, you want to try and run it as wide as possible, hug the wall on the right hand side, and then the run up through 5, you've got to be careful of that little bump in the road as you hit apex. Sometimes people short shift straight to 3rd, sometimes they just ride 2nd and they won't shift till 3rd as they come round the exit and up towards turn 6 in towards Reed Park, where you're at a fast run, you're up through 6, dancing the car around 7, 8 and 9 past Sulman. And just try to dance it through there is one of the toughest things you can possibly do, whether it's a supercar, whether it's a GT, whether it's a production car. You almost get a bit of tunnel vision. You're in amongst the trees, you're surrounded by walls, and you're just trying to let this thing flow up and down the bumps, over the little rises and the dips. And if you can get it perfected through there, you get a great run out through turn 10 at McPhillamy Park and the fast run down the hill towards Brock Skyline at turn 11.
And that gives you, like, McPhillamy gives you just a tiny little break before you start heading down the mountain to the next section of challenging corners. And, you know, if you've done all your work through Reed Park, Solomon, onto McPhillamy, you can set yourself up to head down the mountain. As we all know that then heading on to Conrod, but then we're into the S's, and that is a difficult section of track, quite technical, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of action there as well tonight.
Yeah, it's one where you come up over the rise, you can't see where the road goes, and if it's very early on in the race, for the 12-hour at least, you get the sun right in your eyes. It's very late in the race, you get the sun right in your eyes. You cannot see a thing when it is around about sunset or sunrise, and it's a section that you are literally holding your breath as you dance this car down the hill. You're almost tippy-toeing it through the gears. As you get up to 11, you knock it down to 4th. As you come down through 12, down to 3rd, in towards 13, you're down to 2nd, and then you're in for the ride through the dipper at 14 and 15, and just hoping that the car's going to stick as you run it through those little switchback sections. If you can get it done to perfection, you get a lovely run out of 15, down through 16, into the braking zone at 17, and trying to get this thing tight as possible for Forest Elbow at turn 18. It's a fast run across the top. We spoke about it pre-show. If you have a bit of patience about it, and if you can perfect it, you sit right on the rear wing of the car in front of you, and the pressure that they feel across the top when you are right in behind them, following them through every little line, every little movement across from turn 2 up towards turn 18, it's one that not many people can deal with in terms of a pressure meter here, Brett.
And that's right. You know, like you were saying, through the S's, all that, if you can get all that right and stay right on the ginger of the car in front of you, and set yourself coming up to Forest Elbow, you are in for a crack as you come down Conrod Straight. You know, and just getting all that right, and keeping nice and close. And as you said, being in the mirrors of the guy in front of you, that will create opportunities.
And if you get that run out nicely of 18, you run this thing down Conrod, up towards 300 k's an hour for the fastest corner in Australian motorsport, the Chase at turn 20. You know, it's the favourite tagline whenever people come to Bathurst. It's the fastest corner on the track. It's the fastest corner in Australian motorsport, but it really is. And it is a hold your breath, pucker up moment. You hope the car grips up. If it does, you're hard on the brakes as soon as you're through there. Getting the box down to 3rd gear, turning it in through 21, making sure it's actually going to stick up as you run through 22, and then down towards Murray's, where there is a bit of a passing opportunity down there, Brett, at Murray's, but it's one that drivers have to set themselves up for. You can't just send it down there, because you could very well bend it and end up in a very precarious position.
Yeah, as you're coming out of the chase, if same again as you were talking about before on Forest Elbow, if you set the car up and get it nice and close, same as you come through the chase, if you get all that right and you're coming out of the chase and you're really close to the car in front of you, you've got an opportunity to sneak up the inside and hopefully get the nose up far enough so he can see you there and you can make a move in Murray's. Is difficult, and you have to be right on the money, but it's an opportunity, as you say.
It is indeed. As we bring an end to qualifying for these drivers here tonight. 250 Ks of racing to come your way. 41 laps here this evening. A quarter of the way of the Bathurst 1000 on offer for us here at Mount Panorama Bathurst. And the starting grid looks as follows. Trent Allen will start pole for ARTT Revolution E-Racing. He gets pole 2 weeks in a row. Can he survive in pole tonight, unlike Sebring? We'll have to wait and see. Matt Scholes, though, will line up alongside him in P2 with Brian Minogue in P3. The championship leader, Jim Caparonis, what a stellar race he had at Sebring. Took the very first win he's ever had in Vets. Can he double that up here tonight at Bathurst? Well, he's got 250 Ks to prove himself. Blanchard and Hyde in behind them. Mulford and Damon Fisher. Sean Vandermeer and Paul Burns inside of the top 10. It was a horrid race for Sean last week. Can he make up for it here tonight at Bathurst? If he can stay inside the top 10, you'd have to think that'd be a pretty good going for him. Andrew Rushworth comes up from Split 3, as I mentioned last week at Sebring. He has a really, really good qualifying tonight. P11 on the road in Split 2. He starts alongside the Hoff from SCR. on the 6th row of the grid. As we move back, we've got Jason Fewens and Mick Clifton on the 7th, with Brenton O'Brien and Chad Viger for your top 16. Halil Cesar, Shane Randall. These guys were tangling a little bit last week, had a great battle at Sebring. Can they continue it tonight at Bathurst? We'll have to wait and see. Peter Baxter and Mikey Harland, the privateer out of P20. What can he do in the 717? Of course, comes from an oval background. Can that translate tonight into some more road racing? Matt Muggleton, one of the rising stars of last season, needs to try and back up some performances now. This is where it gets down to the nitty and gritty. He'll start alongside Reece Tagoe on the 11th row of the grid. Alistair Bales and Glenn Corbett, they'll line up in behind. And remember, Corb's back in this season after a season away. Can he really build upon something here in season 23? Matt McMillan, Adrian Zeal, they'll start ahead of Michael Quain and Todd Duggan for your top 28, with Mario Reale and yourself, Brett, in the top 30. Rick Viger, Troy Sipple, Brett Taylor, Nick Huesler, Derek Lovegrove, Sean Cullen for your top 26. As we move back to Matt Monday, and then the drivers who didn't set a time in qualifying: Simon Heddersheed, Jeremy Bush, Simon Haynes, Matt Stoyles, Daniel Serifs, and Dave Arney at the back of the field. Our race controls once again, Jamie Dyke, David Coleman, and Mr. Thomas Freeman as well. It's a big grid. It's a big turnout tonight. And for Trent Allen, it's major pressure once again on pole. He has to try and perform tonight and not get tangled up at the exit of turn 2, just like at Sebring.
Yeah, we are in for another treat as we come closer to that start. And just hello to everyone in the chat as well. Make sure you let yourselves know and punch that like and subscribe, as Hamish said before, and strap yourselves in, because this is going to be great.
It is going to be top tier sim racing motorsport once again. Lap 1 of 42 to come your way very shortly, as lights are going to go up for these drivers, and Allen and Scholes will look to break away. Can Scholes make up for the heartache of last season? Can Scholes get back to winning form? It's underway at Bathurst here this evening. As we rocket off the start line, Allen remains in the lead, covers the line from Scholes as we run up through Hell Corner for the first time. And the run up Mountain Straight for the first time of 41 begins here this evening. A great start from the front runners as the battles look to begin further and all throughout the field as they scramble towards Griffins.
It looks like we've all got nice and cleanly through that first turn, and that's a great start for this race.
Yeah, we couldn't really have asked for more than that, Bretto. Just a nice, clean start. I know last week the safety car getting called, that was purely an incident involving technical issues for Lorne Mackay. Nothing that he could have done, nothing any of the other drivers could have done in that moment. It was just an unfortunate accident that occurred. And one thing that's just occurred right now is Alistair Bales has gone round down at turn 3. So Bales is round. Haynes has been caught up in this as well. Not an early safety car as they're going, but early dramas for Bales.
Not a first clean lap. Yeah,
No.
not a first good clean lap. And as we see Trent Allen just slightly making a bit of a distance here on second place at the moment. So he's doing well. He's going to want to push that car out a little bit further in front. So Scholes in second spot. Sorry,
Minogue.
Minogue, thank you. Sorry, my eyes went cross-eyed for a second there. And last week's winner, Jim Caparonis, in fourth position at the moment. So he's going to want to try and make sure that he puts the car in a really good spot for this championship.
Yeah, he wants to try and sit well here for running up towards Mid-Ohio next week. And he loved to leave Mount Panorama as the championship leader still. For Allen, as we head in towards 21 and 22, it's on the brakes and it looks nice and tidy at the moment. As we move a little bit further back through the field, Vandermeulen's already made up a spot in this race. He's up to P8 at the moment. He's got Damon Fisher hot on his heels at this stage, with Andrew Rushworth just now inside of the top 10. So Burns has now dropped a spot out as Mick Clifton's had an off track in the background, but he's kept it going, it seems. So I don't think it's anything too major for him, but now he's in behind Mikey Harland.
That's right. He looks like he just dropped about 3 or 4 positions, so he might have had an off track there somewhere, and that's just helped him slide down the order there a little bit. Still nice and tidy as they come through the first corner, Hell Corner, and back up the Mountain Straight for the second time around.
What's the pressure like in the car? What's the pressure like at the car at this point, Brett? I mean, you know, I've done my fair share of starting a 12-hour or 1,000, but when it's a race like this, and you know it's a championship round, it's one that is incredibly important to your campaign. What's the feeling like in the car? Is it you're trying to survive and you're hoping when you come up to this next blind turn that no one up the road in front of you's gone round?
Oh, exactly. Your eyes are in the front and the back of your head and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, like you're just happy you got all that. We've seen a puff of smoke there from the car there. That was
Mikey Harland. Yeah, I think just a loss of rear.
Yeah, so he's just lost some rears there. But, no, look, all the things that lead up to the race too. So you're thinking about your qualifying. Did you get your qualifying time where you wanted it to be? I was disappointed with my qualifying time, although, like last week, I actually set the fastest time in qualifying. But also knowing the fact is that I was probably about 2 seconds off pace as well. So that sort of like irks you a bit. So all I'm thinking at this stage is just keep the car tidy, keep it clean, and just try and go with the flow of the traffic and let, you know, just wind down some laps. But it's a nail biter. I mean, I don't know. I'm nervous, you know, every time I sit on that grid because you just want to get away cleanly. You don't want to disrupt other people's races as well as your own, and you just want to finish well. So
look at the speed that is carried through the chase. Yeah. It is. Yep. I'm waiting for the moment where we get the old. I think it was 2000. I think it was also 2009 where Coulthard rolled over into the chase. Coulthard, yep. And you just hear Crompo go, "That was Bargwana. That was Bargwana," as the car just goes over the camera down there. But that was huge. That was amazing that he got out of that, you know, safely. Like, that's a testament to the guys who build these cars, to be quite honest. Yeah, it's. I mean, that there was proof in the pudding that, you know, 20 years earlier that crash happens. He's probably not walking again, realistically. I mean, it's. How quickly that has raised up. I've noticed that Mikey's in the chat with us here. Mikey's livery not censored this week. He's now got a safe livery for broadcast, so we can at least show it, which is good to see from Mikey.
Yeah, you can feel good. Good the fact is you can be shown on the broadcast this week with the
2010
livery.
It was 2010. Thank you, Max.
Yeah.
Thank you, Max. I mean, only off by 1 year, to be fair. Oh my God. Muggleton wants a move. Baxter's in here with Cesar as well. So this is a good mid-pack battle. We know that Randall and Cesar battled last week. We know Muggleton has a point to prove. What can Baxter prove with us this season? I mean, that he almost feels like the next sort of silent assassin, the next Gary Buckland type who could possibly sneak himself some top 10s and really become a contender at some point.
Look, he's just an egg waiting to hatch. I think, like you said, he's just on that verge of just sort of, well, whether it be greatness or not, I don't know whether I want to put that out there, but you know what I mean? Like you say, you have these breakaway moments where things are just working, your car's going well, you're driving well, and you're feeling one with the car, you know, so, and you can slowly push forward and make some things happen on track that you want to happen. I seem to be at the moment, I'm sort of stuck in that bit of no man's land at the moment, not putting the lap times down that I would like, being a little bit off the pace. So yeah, I'm in that sort of like bit of a no man's land at the moment. There are definitely drivers out there that are pushing forward, and Pete Baxter's definitely one of them. He's
one that's, you know, maybe been the forgotten brother recently. We know that Rob Baxter's been heavily rumoured to be talking to teams and talking to team managers. Could Peter maybe be thinking, hey, what about me? I'm good too. Maybe I could get offered a seat at some point.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's right. I mean, look, there's always promise of something, and you've just got to keep on punching out the laps and doing what you do it well, be a good presence on track, and you never know where you're going to land. You know, I mean, there's eyes always on everything that happens. You know, so you've just got to watch what goes on.
Ricky Hyde at the moment running up the hill. He's got Tim Mulford on his heels at the moment of Phoenix Racing Team. Definitely some lessons learned from Sebring for Tim, namely the compulsory pit stop rule. He was unfortunately one of the drivers who copped that disqualification, as well as Alistair Bales. So definitely a learning moment for them in race 1 of the season. But I think one where now that Tim knows that, and he probably has that now tattooed under his eyelids, he's going to be a dangerous driver on track every week now. I mean, he's going to be one that's going to be challenging.
Won't make that mistake. Will not make that mistake again. I'll tell you that right now. You only need to make it once, and you will learn very, very quickly from that. So,
yeah, he's the sort of driver that won't make that sort of mistake twice. He's one that learns from things, and I think he's now got a point to prove that, you know, he can run inside of the top 10, possibly even run inside of the top 5 at the best of weeks. So we look forward to seeing him going on out there. Bulldog saying, I've just seen Bulldog chat. No offers coming in from either of the Munros. Well, I wanted to see how Peter did this season, possibly Bulldog. Maybe I wanted to give a chance to other teams to get a driver into their team, maybe. All right, there has been questions and murmurs saying that Infinity Motorsport has been taking over with the amount of drivers we have. We still don't have the most drivers in our team, Brett. I think that still actually goes with your team, Shadow Racing.
Oh, well, Shadow Racing have stepped it up a lot this series. I'll tell you that right now. How many drivers have we got? I think, stupidly, I did the paint, so I should know. I think it was 7 or 8, I think. Something like that.
7 or 8?
Anyway.
I feel like it's double digits, surely.
No, I don't think it's that many.
Oh,
you're wrong.
Reese DeGoey has just gone round actually at the exit of turn 22, so he gets back going again and slots back into position as well. And that's not the best of starts for him tonight. His teammate, though, has had an absolute ripper start up in P3 as Adrian Zeal's gone round at turn 1.
Yep.
So it's starting to go off.
Well.
Yeah, that's Mario Reali. It's starting to go off now as Corbs is carrying damage too. So this is a big test moment for these drivers. We've gone 5 laps, relatively clean driving, and now it's starting to break away a little bit. So drivers are going to have to be cautious.
And one of the Angry Bird cars in front of me at this point, and one of them got slightly out of shape coming out of Hell Corner, and yeah, I backed out of it because I thought nothing good can come of this.
You don't want teammates coming together.
You
don't want teammates coming together, and you don't want teammates coming together right in front of you, because then it's like, well, where do I go? You know, can you guys not race together on track? But it's brought everyone back into it now, back into a line of stern, which is good to see. Dave Arney's in pit lane. He's unfortunately had to pull out of the race due to a sound issue in his rig. So another technical issue makes another driver bite the dust, unfortunately, for Dave.
And here we go.
Oh, Hasler. Where's he gone?
Hasler.
He's there. Oh, and he's into the wall.
That's a lot of damage on that car.
And it's parked up
right in front of me, actually. I was lucky that he hit the wall on the right-hand side as he came over the top there, over Skyline. And he just, I think, went across the nose of my car. And then, so like he's hit that wall pretty hard, and that car has been taken out of action. The front right-hand side's poking, not in the direction you want. And I think this is going to bring out the safety car as it does. And just to correct you, Shadow Racing has 10 drivers.
I thought it was double digits. It felt like that on the reveal video. I must be honest. I mean, but we see a lot of drivers coming into pit lane to take advantage of this safety car now. Trent Allen, Matt Scholes, Brian Minogue, Ricky Hyde stay out for an extra lap. The safety car's not actually out on track yet, so these guys have at least gotten the reprieve of they haven't been picked up by the safety car. So they're not out of it just yet. But it's a tough moment for Hasler to get out of shape. I mean, it's one where you ride it just that little bit too wide for that little bit too long, Brett. The car catches some sand, it gets a bit loose, and round she goes into the wall. It's a tough spot.
Oh, it is. It's a really... look, there are a number of tough spots on this track. You only have to put a slight foot wrong, and you're either into the wall, you're off into the grass, which is going to turn you around, or you're in the sand. It's like there's so many things. I mean, honestly, and I said this to all my guys, and it's no dig at Jamie for doing the setups or anything like that, but I felt like the car would kill me every single corner. I mean, that might have been the way for everybody, but that's just the way it was for me. I was actually driving on tender hooks the whole night.
Well, we've also now noticed as well, Paul Burns has jumped Jim Caparonis in the pit lane, but Paul has taken a significantly shorter stop, a 10-second shorter stop. So he's taking track position at this point of the race, overtaking the fuel strategy benefit of taking more fuel under the safety car stop. So this may play out well for Paul, especially if we get a long green period, Brett, where the field can spread out a little bit, and even through some incidents, we can drop a couple of drivers further down the order. So this isn't just over yet for Paul Burns, but it means that he's going to be hoping for probably at least a 20 to 25 lap green period once we get green again, because he does not want to get another safety car that would chew him further and further back in the field, especially around that critical lap of lap 14/15, depending on the fuel usage.
So, Hamish, what do you do? You know, we're on lap. Sorry, I can't see the laps. What are we? Lap 5, 6?
Yeah. We're lap 6 at the moment. It's just been completed for the leaders, so lap 7.
Yeah. Lap 6. So the safety car comes out. What do you do? How much fuel do you put in the car? It's a fairly early stop. What's your mentality?
I'm not going to give away exact numbers because that may then look into our team strategy. So that would be
that's fine.
The team owner hat's coming on for a sec. I'm not going to give away the exact strategy, but we've found that taking slightly more than what the split is works better in this scenario. It also normally works better if we're trying to undercut as well, because it means that we get pushed back in the field where there's a bit more free air and we can push on for longer, and then the driver we might be stuck behind gets caught up in some battles, they naturally drop pace, and the gain that they may have had on us in that stop then gets drawn back significantly. What it also then means is because we've taken slightly more fuel, we take a shorter pit stop on the next run. So,
correct.
If we start to get safety car after safety car after safety car, it means that we're going to get the benefits of it in the pit stop, and we're going to be able to save more and more fuel and take even less fuel on the next stop.
That's right, and that's why I asked that question, purely because say the same thing is what do you do? How do you do it? Not to sort of divulge team plans and strategies and stuff like that. But that's the thing that happens to you live. You've got to think on your feet, and this is where some people come unstuck, and some people relish in those times that they really think well on their feet. I sort of thought, rightio, early stop. I'm going to put, like you said, I'm going to put more than my equal split stop was going to be. I think it was something about 70, 75 litres, whatever it was. So in the next stop, I was going to have to put less fuel in, which hopefully meant that I was going to, slightly get out in front from some competitors to put less fuel in than me, as long as all the things equaled up. But those are the sort of pressures that sort of really get you going at the time, because you never know what's going to happen right at that point, and what your strategy is going to be. You try and play out a few scenarios, thinking forward, but there's always something that catches you out.
We try not to. So if we've gone to the end of the stint and we've decided we're going to put that bit extra in, we'll never put more in than 80 litres, because majority of the time your running that you've done is roughly, depending on the race length, if it's a 250, 300, you're only ever running with 80 litres in the car when you practice. So you haven't practiced the car in full fuel running. We don't want to put too much in. We also always leave 20 litres for the second stop if we, that's the minimum that allows tyres. So, exact numbers, that's track dependent. It's also how we feel. We also play it by ear sometimes as well.
Well,
it might be.
It comes down to tyre wear as well, too,
Exactly,
doesn't it? If you've got a track that wears tyres heavily, by putting more fuel in, sometimes you might gain more grip, but you'll gain more tyre wear. So you're going to benefit early, but suffer big time later on. Just noticed Sean Vandermeulen put in the chat there, fill her up. So there's a few people on that belief.
If I think if there's an early safety car, you fill it up all the way, definitely. If it's within the first 5 laps or so. I think when you get towards 10 laps, especially with a track like Sebring or Bathurst where you're running nearly 5 litres a lap on fuel, filling her up can almost be too much fuel getting put into the car, so you're sitting there for too long. So it's a real balancing act of figuring out, and in proper hindsight and future thought, this is where the benefit of having a spotter is. Not everyone has one.
Wouldn't it be nice?
It's one thing that we offer at our team, Brett. But I do understand that not everyone can offer that, because not everyone has either a spare driver or someone who's willing to come and do spotting for them, because the majority of teams in this league, they race. Everyone races from those teams. I mean,
correct.
It's
and
very,
they're all racing on the.
Exactly.
So
So that makes it a bit harder. But that's where planning your strategy before the race, like during the week, that's where that can pay dividends for you, because it means that
especially Sorry, mate. Especially if you've got if you do have a team where you do discuss those things, you can actually, and someone might be better on strategies than you are, or you're newer, so you're not 100% figured out on it all. So you can sort of you can all make a call. If you've got another couple of drivers in your split, you're sort of going to be on that same page. So that does help. It does, and the thing is too, like for people who haven't quite come into the vets or are thinking about jumping on racing and stuff like that, these are things that the new guys tend to suffer with a lot. They can be fast on their feet, they can be quick drivers, but then these little pit strategies and things like that can really, destroy a race.
It takes time.
It
takes time to learn the nuances of the strategy game and which strategy plays
100%.
work better. Unless you've got raw pace, taking a short stop as your first stop, that doesn't really work out. For the average driver, it doesn't really work out. Unless you're someone who's probably top 10 or top 5 in pace, it doesn't necessarily work out. And if there's any safety cars at all, that ruins it for you because everyone's going to get bundled up again. So I think, time can be gained and lost in pits, and taking the fast stop early not only hurts your strategy by the fact of you're going to have very, very worn tyres by the end of the race because you've got to come in earlier, but it's also you don't really get the benefit of having that lighter car and the fresher tyres. You really get those benefits at the end, where if there's a late safety car and you've come in only 5 laps before the safety cars come out, well, all of a sudden you look pretty golden because your tyres are pretty fresh and you've got a nice light car on fuel.
Yeah, and as I was saying, like if people new to racing, people new to vets, and all that sort of stuff, and I still consider myself, a young player in this game. I think this is my 3rd season, or it doesn't matter. These are things that I have to learn. These are things that I have to figure out, on the fly and things like that. And as someone in the chat said, it's 100% of the 100% strategy. Or sorry. The strategy is what makes the vets racing, and that's Rick Geiger who put that up there. And it's right. You can make or break on those decisions, and it's not easy to sort of, you can be fast on the track, but if you make these little mistakes in pits and things like that, it can really throw your race out. And it just takes time. It takes time to learn, and you'll slowly figure things out and get better at things. And that's the thing that I put to myself, is that I just hope that I sort of, concentrate on one thing per season or series and slowly get better at that,
Well, we've been speaking about strategy, and I think unfortunately for Matty McMillan, he's had an absolute strategy blunder here. He's not pitted under the safety car. So poor old Matty is only going to be able to go to about lap 16 on this tank, and then he's going to have to come in, and unfortunately he's going to get swallowed up by the field. The only benefit I can see is he's been able to save, and because this safety car period's gone this long, we're now in a similar scenario to Sebring, where we've likely been able to save a full lap's worth of fuel nearly, if drivers have been saving, mind you. And it means that when they come around for that second stop, those pit stops are only going to get faster, and they're only going to get a little bit more juicy. So that's one thing, that's one little nuance to learn as well, is if a safety car gets called, you are in 6th gear and you are clutching in all around the track.
I have learned that one.
Yeah, it is uphill, you're in 6th, downhill, you are clutched in. You are clutched in and ready to go. Like it's but you just got to be careful you don't money shift it. You got to be careful you don't click down whilst the clutch is in to get down to 2nd, and you lift it off and then pop goes your engine. So
it certainly does, yeah. And we're just about to get underway. So Matty McMillan's leading this pack at the moment. Scholes out in 2nd spot. There's that name again.
Brian Minogue.
Minogue, thank you. Sorry.
You're right.
In 3rd spot. Burns in 4th. Caparonis in 5th at the moment. So they're coming around the chase at the moment. So where is he going to go? Is he going to go early? Is he going to wait to the line? Is he going to hold everyone up?
I think he goes apex of the last corner. Does not want to risk knocking this car off track and really putting this race out of his hands. He'll play this nice and safely. If it was a bit later in the race, you'd probably expect him to go at the armor all sign, but I'd say probably apex or just after apex for him to go green.
No, he's still holding. He's holding.
He's holding a bit late. Now he's gone. So
now he's gone.
He played the conscious and patient game, but then he realised I actually haven't got that much further to go till the line. I better go here. So green flag running again.
A couple of people trying to have some moves on the inside of Hell Corner up here, so just further back in the pack. all
Venom
cleanly
in
through
one of it.
there, so that's good.
Yeah, they've done well. McMillan leads us up towards turn 2, lap 9 of 41 now of this race. So we've had about 4 or 5 laps of safety car. So as I said, you save half a litre across that period, all of a sudden you've got a lap back. So that's where the benefits can be of learning the fuel save strategy as well. So McMillan, who leads, he will need a pit stop. So Matt Scholes is now actually our effective leader as Daniel Sheriffs has pulled off to the side of the road. And I reckon he's unfortunately money shifted it down at turn 2. And that engine's gone.
He's had the grey puff of smoke come out the back of the car.
Yeah.
There's no sound there, so definitely he's done the business on that motor.
Yeah.
And are we going to see another safety car come out?
I don't know if they'll pull the trigger on it because he is parked right next to that little driveway on the left-hand side, and the fact that the safety car's just come in as well. So they'll want to try and let the field spread a little bit. They don't want it to be stop-start does race control. Of course, Mr. Coleman, who is the head of Split 2 race control, has now become a part of the admin team as well alongside Bruce McLeod for the Vets. So congratulations to both those guys. As Mr. Van Loon said, welcome to hell. Glad you were able to get through the gate. But Coleman's a very smart race controller. I think he realises that if we continue to have this sort of stuff happening, we don't want it to be stop-start with safety car all the time. So we want a good green period.
And also considering the fact that we were actually, there was some updates tonight, on this night.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to get into the realm of not finishing a race and running out of time. So
Scott Gamble still trying to commentate from the chat there. If the money shifted, he got no change from that transaction. Unfortunately, that might be one of Scotty's best quips he's ever pulled, and it's in the chat, not in the comms box. That's I almost feel saddened that that's not come out of his mouth in his words. So we'll say that, Brett. But that's
he's quite welcome to join at any time. just to pop the odd comment in there.
He just joins, says his quip, leaves. No context. No nothing.
Mic drop.
Exactly.
Yeah, mic drop out.
Yeah. No, it's Daniel that's out, not Mike. It was Daniel. A horrid joke. I do apologise, Brett. Yeah.
So Matty McMillan he's managing only half a second gap on Scholes at the moment. So he's probably going to he's wanting to probably push a little bit further ahead than what he's got there so far. But there's the field's slowly spreading out a bit. There's only a couple, 2 or 3, battles going on. But sorry, there's more than 2 or 3 battles. There's probably about 5 or 6 battles going on. But they're starting to spread out a little bit there.
So
coming over Skyline.
He's up 24 spots, so he started in P25. So this strategy, if he can get a nice green run now to his pit stop, which may even go out to lap 18, does he go all the way to the back of the field, Brett, or do we think he goes back to where he started the race? If he goes back to where he started, I think that's pretty good. I think that's not too bad. If he's maybe 5 spots back, not as good, but not horrible. I think the worst scenario is he ends up at the very back of the field and his race is, trying to come back from that.
Yeah, he's cooked the chook. But, look, who knows? Another safety car might come out. There's plenty of things that can happen. I mean, he's got himself track position at the moment. So, at the moment, track position is king. So,
well, the strategy position at the moment lies with Trent Allen, who took a 35-second stop during that first pit stop period. So, he's actually gaining 10 seconds on Caperonis, 20 seconds on Burns, 10 seconds on Minogue, 10 seconds on Scholes, and at the moment 35 seconds on Matt McMillan, who needs to come into pit lane. So for Trent Allen, he sits in the money at the moment, and after second pit stops, if he can stay in this position, he should come out P1 on the road.
Yeah, and obviously he's quick because he was our pole sitter, so he's going to be probably very happy with where he's sitting at the moment.
Yeah, he'll be happy with it. Running clean, just tucked in behind Jim. He knows Jim's a clean driver. Jim proved it last week at Sebring and in races past. He'll be happy to sit here. I think Rushy knows that, he's taken a longer stop. Rushy's taken a shorter one for the track position. He may try and find his way forward a little bit, but Rushy's pretty smart in this scenario now. He'll sit here. He'll wait for a chance. He may even try and use Trent to help him save some fuel at this point of the race as well.
Yeah, and tag himself along. So, 100%.
because they know that it's, especially here, it's not a sprint. It is a slow and meticulous walk around the mountain, and with the likes. I don't know about meticulous.
I know what you're saying, but I don't think it's a slow, meticulous walk.
No,
I think it's a very, very fast,
if
meticulous walk.
If you're walking, then it is slow and meticulous.
Yeah.
I dread the day that I have to go for a track walk here, because I feel as soon as I get to turn 1, I'm going to regret my decisions in life, having to walk back up the hill to the top.
So you've never been here?
I've never been here. I do want to go to the mountain at some point. I've been to every super.
Clip the wall in too. I think Trent just slightly tagged the wall in.
He might have.
Unless he's just adjusted his steering in a very quick manner, but
yeah.
No, do yourself a favour, Hamish. Go to the track, because the vision of the track does not do it justice when you're actually standing on the track and actually see what the drivers see. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
It's the same when I've been to, because I've not been to Calder, but I have been to every track that the supercars are on, excluding the Melbourne GP, although I have been there. The Victorian circuits that they run, so Winton, Sandown and Phillip Island, I have been to all those tracks, and it looks so different when you're actually there and you see it with your own eyes. Like Sandown especially. Sandown, you don't get a grasp actually how long the main straight of Sandown is. And the same thing for Phillip Island. For the Doohan Straight at Phillip Island, you don't realise how long that straight actually is until you see it in the flesh. Like, it's the, TV or even driving in the sim doesn't quite do it justice until you see it for yourself and you understand the elevation and you understand the environment of the circuit. And it's, I know that Bathurst definitely, it's come a long way in sims and in games since the old Toka Race Driver, Brett. Quite a few years ago I did a lap on Toka Race Driver, and that ain't Bathurst. It just ain't Bathurst. It is one of the worst renditions of Bathurst I think I've ever seen in my life. I think they added about 5 corners across the top of the mountain.
Look, I've been around doing sim racing since 1996, I think. I started my sim racing career, which is a long time ago. I haven't really got that much better since then. But what I was going to say before is, in that time, how far have they come? Like, it's just mind-blowing how much everything has improved. But what I'm about to say is, where do we go in another 10 or even 5 years, knowing the fact that computing is getting faster, like everything's just speeding up. So I'm keen to see where we're going to be sitting in a few years' time, because I think it's getting better and better and better.
Well, what we're getting right now is some better and better on-track action here. Brett, a battle for P10 on the road is being led by Damon Fisher at the moment. He's got Vandermeer and Blanchard and Harland trying to chase him down. They've got Randall and Chad Viger in behind them as well. So there's some quick boys in behind Damon at the moment. He'll be starting to feel the pressure as they start to approach the back of that Team AJR car. And, these are some talented drivers here in amongst this field. Yep. One of them, a little bit unproven in Mikey Harland, had a pretty good run last week. Strategy let him down. Tonight, though, he'll have a point to prove to try and get on top of Strategy and make sure he gets it to the end.
Nice looking car too. The new livery on the livery for some people. That car is looking pretty smart. That is really look smart looking car. Well done, Mikey. And also, like you're saying before, he's sitting in 13th at the moment, and he looks comfortable. He doesn't look like he's out of sorts of where he is at the moment. He's just sitting at a nice pace there, and I think we're in for. I'll be interested to see where he comes later on in this series. I think he's going to be definitely a contender.
We're not going to sit on his hamburger cam though, because I know what's on the roof of that car. Delivery will get censored if I do that, so
don't do that.
We're not going to do that. He's got Shane Randall chasing him down at the moment in the Blackheart Designs Infinity Motorsport car at the moment, with Chad Varga hot on his heels as well. Shane and Chad have been known to get into some good battles, especially throughout last season and season 21 as well. Jace was in a good battle with Shane last week too at Sebring, so these guys have been around this spot all at least across the first round of the season. You almost have a feeling these guys are going to get to know each other very, very well across season 23. And this may even be the battle of almost best of the rest, Brett. Like, this may be the battle of, or their little pack of drivers, if they can race every week, who may even end up inside of the top 10 in the championship. and may even end up in a fight for maybe a P7 or a P6 in the title race as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the thing is that the talent that's now up the further towards the top, and actually now all the talent that is in probably the middle of the series, middle of these drivers. Sorry, I'm not really making any sense here. That's actually pushed some of us. So like I was saying, like I hoped last series to finish in the top half, and if I got into the top 15, I was happy and lots of stuff. I'm now probably going to have to consolidate a top 20, because I know that the caliber of drivers that have actually stepped up, that pack has closed up so much in that top end of the field. Matty McMillan,
he is indeed. So he's had to concede and come into pit lane. We'll see if that hurts him or how far he drops down the order.
Harlan just going for a bit of move on Blanchard. He's got that move done. So let's see if he can hold it off on Griffin's Bend.
Well,
he's on the outside, so he's
he's got it done.
Yeah, he's got it done. Blanchy's sort of pulled in behind him, so he's not going to contest it. So that's a great move. He's set that one up early. He's run a little bit wide there, so that's going to give opportunity for
Blanchy to come
back at him.
Yeah, they're going to go.
Randall's in the box seat as well.
Side by side in towards the cutting.
Oh, he's got it done again.
He's got it done. Great bit of racing from them at the moment. Oh, bit of a scrape of the wall though from Harland. Hopefully the car doesn't carry too much damage off of that, but this is now allowing Randall and Viger and Fewins into it to almost bring it up to a little 5-pack challenge here. All for P11 on the road, and Sean Vandermeulen will be laughing his guts up at the moment, because he is P10 and he's got 3.5 seconds back to Mikey Harlan and Chris Blanchard at the moment in their battle, and the more they battle, the worse it's going to get for them.
And that's an angry little pack too, because then say once you, like after a couple of laps, you get into a bit of a rhythm and you go, right, I know I'm not faster than this guy. We're about the same pace. He's not making any mistakes. I'll just sit here. And so as soon as someone steps out of line, everyone just lifts and go, oh, here's an opportunity. So everything just lifts and it just becomes a lot more heightened, and you're sort of like looking for any mistake that anyone makes and trying to take opportunity of that. And that's what happens. And as the pack closes up, people get a little bit desperate and sort of think, oh, there might be a move on here.
Well, Blanchard's not quite ready to go for the move just yet on Harland. Randall still under pressure here from Viger. Let's move a little bit further back in the field. Peter Bax, who we spoke about earlier, is back into P19 where he started this race, but interestingly enough, his pit stop that he took was 32.8 seconds. So he's been one of those drivers to take roughly 80 litres in the stop, which means that he will get the benefits of that later in the race when he takes the second.
Mike Clifton just had a little bit of a look on the inside then and just really sat the car in mid-track and just let Pete know he was there. So whether he's going to sort of start and force an issue in the next couple of laps if he feels he's a bit quicker than Baxter.
Michael Quain as well at the front of this battle pack. Todd Duggan at the back of it. Heartbreak for Duggan last week, got taken out at Sebring. Hopefully tonight at Bathurst he can have a better run. He's up 7 positions at the moment into P21 on the road. So he's making moves forward here, and if he can keep himself clean, well, through the natural digression of other drivers getting caught up in the wars, he may very well find himself maybe even up towards the top 15 here, Brett.
Definitely. You know, Duggan's a quick driver, so, you know, he'd be probably a little bit frustrated being stuck in where he is and want to sort of move up. And we've got someone around.
That's Glenn Corbett, who was already carrying damage. Oh, careful of pulling out.
Oh,
Glenn, oh my God.
That was
his former teammate. That was his former teammate in Mario Raleigh. I think it's his former teammate. That's a different livery on Glenn's car. It might still be his teammate because of the Bale and Stewart Foundation logo on the bonnet. But yeah, that was a scary moment for Mario for sure.
Oh, Corbett's got that car facing the right way, but I tell you what, its face is a bit punched in at the moment. So hopefully he hasn't got too much damage on that car and he can just get it nicely around.
And I feel that orange may be the wrong colour car for Mario. He might need a brown car for next week, possibly.
Well, either that or a new seat.
Oh, yeah, even a new suit possibly as well. Sean Cullen up 1 into P35 at the moment as well. Adrian Zeal's down some spots after a spin at turn 1. Simon Haynes up 10 for Quantum Racing after starting at the back of the field. Same for Simon Heddersheet. He's up 9 and chasing down Tim Mulford, who's far and few between down the order. Mulford took a very long stop, and we actually missed it. We'll have to look at the end of the race. He had a big moment into pit lane, Brett. He actually flipped the car on the entry.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that'll hurt.
Yeah, so
that'll definitely hurt.
We'll find that for the. It's a bit like watching the lap 1 crash back last week. We'll watch back Tim's pit entry tonight when we get to the end.
Header sheet just having a little bit of a look on the inside then with Mulford, just letting him know he's there. So he might be in has another look towards Hell Corner. Let's see if he backs out again. So he's really putting the pressure on, just making sure he sees him in these mirrors there, and that'll definitely slowly. I mean, every driver's different, but if you show the nose, I mean, they're going to want to know what's going on behind them and try and keep the focus in front of them. But it's definitely, it's going to make you thinking what's going on behind you anyway.
Some drivers also do it to check where their braking marker is as well, especially if you don't quite have the FOV to see the braking marker up ahead of you. So some of them will actually duck out and then back in again to get the braking marker. But obviously you also then get the strategic advantage of you're in their mirrors, you're putting pressure on them by doing that as well.
Well, just the attitude of the car coming through those couple of corners, I think he was definitely trying to have a bit of a look on, knowing the fact that he might have been a little bit faster. Oh, he's just clipped the wall there too.
Oh.
Gonna push him wide.
Header Sheed is pushing as hard as ever to get past and keep up with Tim Mulford at the moment. I think that might be Tim Mulford in the chat list actually, saying I do it well. So, I do it well. So yeah, we'll show that off, Tim, just to give you your moment of fame for this race, but also just to kind of show the reasoning as to why Tim is so far down the order now after running so well up towards the top 10. A bit further up, Rick Viger applying some pressure to you at the moment here, Brett, and it's going through your mind as you run down the hill.
Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash.
Fair enough. I have the exact same thought process as I go across the top of the mountain.
Look, I knew Rick's pretty quick, and I know he's going to be wanting to all these guys behind me. I knew I was probably holding them up a little bit, but I didn't want to, just let him go by, give him a free kick, of course. I was happy at the moment sitting in 22nd, considering I started at 30, but knowing I had some faster guys behind me, I was sort of, obviously it unsettled me a bit. I knew that they were there. So I was trying to sort of concentrate and keep focus forward, but also knowing the fact, and I think that's the thing, is you've got to know the guys you're racing around you. Because and I got a bit of a wiggle coming out of Hell Corner then, so that sort of put the pressure on me there. And we go 3 wide nearly.
Oh, no, please don't make it 3 wide, Matt. Oh, don't do it. Okay, good. He backed out of it. That definitely would have been a scary moment in your mirrors at that point of the race, to see Matt Stoyle sitting there lurking going, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? Nah, I'm not going to do it. Don't worry, Brett. You're fine. But you don't always know, because some drivers will. They'll just be like, oh, screw it, I'm going for it. And that normally ends in tears. So it's good of Matt to play it smart.
Like I said before, is that now Rick's gone past, these guys are going to go, well, Rick's gone past, Brett's holding us up a little bit, I want to get past, I know I'm faster. So there's those things in mind. And as I said, I try and make sure I'm aware of who I'm racing around me. Although, as I said, you're not going to get that spot at a given. I'm not going to just give it to you. And if I can keep you out and challenge you for, and I'm going to do it. But still, you don't want to take yourself out in your race and destroy yours and others.
You don't want to
that's always on my mind.
You don't want to over defend, but you want to make it. They have to earn it. They don't just get it. They have to earn the position.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and like last series, I can't remember. And I tagged the ball there. I can't remember where it was, but there was. I ran side by side in probably 3 or 4 corners, and actually got the position back again because hey, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to force you into a bad position, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's you're not going to be like Senna, where you're going to be like, well, I'm going to go for it. If he turns into me, it means that we're always going to crash here. If he lets me go, and I know that I'm always going to get that move done. It's a good way of testing the mental of the other driver.
Of course.
Not that we recommend or condone people crashing into other people, of course, but it's a strategy that even the best of the best pulled, where they just put their car in a dangerous position, and if the other guy backed out, he knew that you were cake pretty much. He could get you at any point if he did that.
And that's exactly right, and that's why I all fair in love and racing. we're racing. We're not driving behind each other.
No, that's right. Right on board with Brian
Battle's
Minogue at the moment here, Brett, up through Reed Park. We've got Paul Burns hot on his heels, Jim Caperonis and Trent Allen as well. So these guys just hanging back a little bit, letting Matty run away for a moment here. Trent knows he's got about 10 seconds in hand to Matty when they pit, but it's more or less just, again, you're trying to survive. We're getting into the period of the race now where you're trying to, every lap that you make it through, you're punching a hole in your little, Subway buy 10 sandwiches, get a free at the end one, where you're buying a ticket to the end of the race at this point. If
Correct.
You're just ticking over the laps and you're trying to get to the very end, and these guys know that they're in a position at the moment to win a race. Doesn't matter if they're not winning at the moment, they're keeping themselves clean and keeping the opportunity open to take a race win. The only one that may drop out of this is Paul Burns, who has got quite a lot of time to give up in the pit stop, but a safety car could completely change that, especially if we get the long green period and this top 5 starts to break away from the rest of the pack.
And look at I nearly said Tim Allen. Sorry, Trent. Trent Allen, like, he's just sitting behind Jim Caperonis. Now, I guarantee he knows he's probably quicker than Jim, and I think he's just sitting there, probably fuel saving, and probably just saying, "Well, I'm in a good position. There's no point in actually pushing my luck at all."
No, that's right. I mean, he's your P5 nearly at the halfway point of the race. There's no point at this point trying to get past and running forward.
And that's not to take anything away from Jim or Burnsy or God, there's that name again. I've started on it and I've oh, Jesus. Oh, it's got me.
Brian Minogue.
Minogue. I don't know why I'm stuck on that. I'm sorry, Brian. Like once you say it first wrong, that's what sticks in your head.
Yeah.
I do apologise, mate. I'm sorry if you're listening. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say, but that's not to take anything away from these guys in front of him. But he's just playing the long game at the moment. Yeah,
the long, smart game of running your way forward. Mr. Grumley saying bit of copyright going. I don't really understand what you mean, Steve. We haven't necessarily copyrighted something, and we're not breaking copyright at the moment as well, but we're talking about buying a ticket to the end of the race. Everyone says it on a broadcast, not even just supercars. There are other series that use it too. How much can you save per lap without losing pace on fuel? That comes down to the driver. That comes down to how much pace can you carry through corners. I suppose if you can save 0.1 of a lap per lap, you're going pretty good, because it means that across the stint you'll get a lap or so back, but it comes down to the driver and how willing you are to save. Brett Fisher, you are in the wall. What have you done at the dipper?
I may or may not have made a mistake. I come over the top of Skyline and got the car sideways. I had a bit of a tank slapper and unfortunately got my nose into the wall just before the dipper. And I can't remember who was behind me and just helped me to actually spin all the way around. Or was that? No, that might. Anyway, I just did it on my own. That was my bad. So I was right to think that my car was trying to kill me every corner.
Well, it did apparently. It eventually got you.
Yeah. Oh, it did. It did. Yeah.
Does he run up?
I was feeling at this point because I was.
You would be, because you were in a good spot, and now unfortunately you got a broken car and you're back down the order. Luckily though, you passed critical lap, so you can get home on one more stop. As we run up towards the cutting once again, we've got Ricky Hyde, Damon Fisher, hot on his heels at the moment. Oh, the mirror's on 801. Where's 801? There's a green. That's a personal colour. That's... His mirror's a full green. That's his personal colour there, Steve. He's claiming that they've stolen the mirror design, but it's just a colouring thing.
Oh, all this. Is that where the copyright is?
Apparently. But that's just where they have their personal colours. But they actually have the whole mirror coloured in.
not just the top bit, which we can see on Brian's car. It's just the actual mirror part, not the stand. But regardless, that's fine. I thought we'd broken. I thought we'd done something wrong. I'll be honest with you. I was like, what have we done here? Wayne Sanders in the chat, loving the damage model. iRacing got it right. They've done very well with the damage model. There have been some issues, like cars self-fixing when they get damaged, but relatively speaking, they've worked well to get it fixed up. And when you get a big crash, it makes it look very, very spectacular when you've got parts flying off it.
Oh, it does. It certainly does. Can we see the movers and groovers? We see how much people have moved up. Just to run through that quickly. So Paul Burns is up 7 spots at the moment. Andrew Rushworth up 5. Hoffy's up 5. So Harlan is up 9. So there's quite a few people up a lot of spots. Stoyle's up 18 back in 23rd. Rick Bigger in Viger in 21. He's up 10. Jeremy Bush up 15. So there's a lot of people up and down, but we've still got to settle this once the next round of pit stops are completed.
There'll be a natural filtration now of drivers up and down the field of where they may end up and how they end up, where they are as well, obviously too. So it's a real tough scenario for some drivers to be in. I mean, if we look at their leaders, there we can see the differences in their pit stop times and the fact that some of those drivers went a lap longer, so they were able to get an extra lap into their fuel tank. So it's a tough balancing act, realistically, to try and get your pit stop time to absolute perfection. But if we also look at then the stint lengths at the moment, those top 8 are, they all came in at the same time, relatively speaking. We're only going to see this real balancing act come into consideration once we see how long drivers are going, if some drivers are going a lot longer or if some are going to have to come in earlier. If we look at Chris Blanchard, he's gone 34 seconds on his first stop, so he could probably go well into the 30s at this point in terms of how far this car can run. Where a driver like Shane Randall, who was about 23 seconds in the box, may only get as far as maybe lap 27 or 28, depending on the fuel save.
And another one we haven't mentioned yet is Ricky Hyde. He's done 32.55 seconds in his pit, so he's in a good spot too. He's in 8th spot at the moment, so he's going to look pretty good once we come out of these next round of stops.
He's going to be maybe even up as high as the top 5, because Hoffy and Rushy have got some time to give in their stop, as does Burns. So there's 3 drivers who are going to naturally drop a little bit in their stop. If he can get past all 3 of them, well, then he's P5 on the road and he's in a good spot, as this battle has been continuing on over the last 10 laps between Harlan, Blanchard, Randall and Vigus. These guys are trying to sit in a nice little position here as Clifton is the first driver to jump in. He took a big fuel stop in the first run, but he's not going long this time. Very interesting strategy from him. And Accelerate Sim Racing as Matt Stores follows him in as well. So lap 22 of 41, first proper second pit stop of this race for Mick Clifton. I'm surprised he hasn't gone long here though, Brett, because he had the big fuel load in the car.
Yeah, I wonder whether there's any other issues that he's just decided this is what, this is the way he's planned out his pit strategy. It'd be interesting to know whether there was any other contributing factors.
Well, he's coming out and he's done a 16.16, so he's definitely saved some fuel across that stop, and it's a much shorter stop this time by. So he exits pit lane, he's back in P33. We'll see where he ends up after the pit stop cycle happens. Look, I'm saying don't need to save / push hard and use it. Yeah, very true if he comes in at this point, but I just think it's a long time to go on tyres. He's having to now go, 20 odd laps on a set of tyres, which he's just gone 17 laps on tyres. I suppose the differential is the longer that the rest of the field goes, they're going to be in the same boat. But again, it's like what we spoke about earlier, Brett, where you almost want to have your really, really fresh tyres at the end and use up the middle stint to really deal with that poor tyre wear.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'd love to know that what he, what he was thinking, what his process of thought was there, to why he's done it that way. But because he was in a good spot, just as he just come out and clipped that wall just a bit, pushing hard on cold tyres. But this is the game we play. Is that we've all got different ways of thinking about it, all different strategies and things like that. So, and sometimes they pay off, and sometimes they don't. And that's clear to see. Sometimes you just absolutely tick all the boxes.
I was about to say, I suppose with his practice, he's been on the heavier fuel load all week, so he's probably used to driving in that position. But a small mistake on the cold tyres at Forest Elbow has damaged that XSR car now. So, a bit of damage limitation now for Mick Clifton. He's going to have to just reel it back in a little bit. He's got plenty of space in front of him to push, but he does not want to push too hard and put this car into the wall and ruin the day for himself and Accelerate Sim Racing as well. John Gallen joining us in the chat. Great to have you out there, John. So Mick Clifton was the first of the regular stoppers, but that's a big moment.
He'd be kicking himself for that too, knowing the fact that he's done what he wanted to do, maybe with his pit strat and stuff like that, and he's gone out and just tagged the wall. Hopefully the car is not damaged in any way other than what we can see superficially. Great little battle here between Viger and Duggan.
Yep, and then we just
move
skip
back up to Harland.
Yep, I just wanted to see how this battle was starting to happen here, because lap 23 of 41, and they're still stuck together like glue. Ironically, Rick's brother Chad is in this battle, and further back, Rick's in his battle with Todd Duggan as well. And it's amazing, we always talk about it, how two former championship rivals always find themselves on track together.
Yep. And I mean, and as it goes to say, obviously their pace and the way they drive and things like that is very similar. They're punching out to similar laps, so why wouldn't it be a magnet attraction to get them coming together again? It's only probably natural.
And I feel we're in a similar scenario now where, Chad and Shane and Blanchy and Mikey and maybe even Halil and Jason are always going to find themselves on track too, because they run very similar lap pace as well.
They certainly are, yeah. And I'll just mix in the chat as well, and he's giving himself an uppercut for that damage. But Mick, was that your strategic pit stop planned? Was that the way you planned it out, and you're happy with that?
Well,
as we see,
Paul Burns. So this is the issue now with him taking that lighter fuel load in the first stop. He hasn't been able to go quite as long as the other drivers. So he's probably run this thing dry, and now he's had to come in and just get this thing set up for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that's right. It's forcing his hand, so he's going to have to do the, not quite 20 laps, but yeah, it's forced his hand with that pit strategy there.
It's going to be over 30 seconds in that fuel stop as well. So this is going to be a big loss for Paul Burns. Hopefully he remains inside of the top 10, or at least the top 15, so he can battle his way forward. But he's still in the pit box now. I mean, he's all the way down to roughly P30 at this stage, as he's only just dropped at 37.15 seconds. So that's a long stop for Paul Burns, and it's a lot of time that he's had to now give up at this point of the race.
Skull's out at the moment. He's got a 2-second gap for there we go again, that name. Oh, he's going to kill me.
Mr. Minogue. There you go. Minogue.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. So he's got a 2.5-second gap out on Malone, but Jim Caparonis and Trent are chasing him big time here down Conrod Straight.
Look at the pressure that he would be feeling right now of Jim and Trent hot on his heels, two of the championship favourites, putting all sorts of pressure on Brian at the moment. I mean, he's been in this position before, many times before, and it's one that just seems to, it's that the pressure's building, and it's one that Brian it's a sink or swim scenario. He's got to try and survive this pressure now, fight his way forward. He is going to give up some time to Trent, but if he can stay out ahead of Jim after the pit stop, he may very well be in for a good opportunity here tonight for a podium, possibly.
Offie and Damon in pits now.
Yep.
So we're starting to cycle through these. Definitely starting to cycle through these second stops.
It's definitely the limit of the fuel for sure. This is as Harland also comes in. So those guys who took the shorter stops, their hand is now being forced for when they have to pit. So this is about as far as they can go, it seems. So Hoffman, Fisher, Harland, Quain in as well. So Quain took a slightly longer stop than those other drivers who've also come in. So I don't think he's going to come out ahead of them, but he'll be right on their chuff as they exit pit lane. So he will get some gain here. Bush is in, so Sipple. So we're well into pit stop period now, and the question is, when do the leaders come in and who goes the longest to sneak themselves, possibly lead the lap point? So Matty Skulls, leader of this race at the moment, lap 25 of 41. Minogue.
They're starting to wind down, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
The laps are winding down quicker than sort of what it felt like in the car. I'll tell you that right now.
It's funny how quickly a race can go by when everyone, or when you're not actually in the car. That's Simon Heddersheet and Reese DeGoey down at turn 2. So both of them have come together down there, and they're having to try and get these things going again. But that's a big loss for those drivers. And look who's hot on their heels. Paul Burns, who's trying to fight his way through the field to get back up towards the top 10. But this is now, this is worst case scenario for Paul, because he's now got traffic across the top of the hill. And this is the major X factor of risking the short stop early, is you end up in traffic and unable to move forward when you have to take the longer stop later.
And the hard thing too is you don't want to make frustrating passes, but you know you have to get on with it as well. We see Heddersheet ahead, so this is going to start. And Goey, is it Goey?
That's
no,
Minogue.
Skulls.
That's Minogue in
Minogue,
pit lane.
sorry.
So
the guy I can't pronounce his name.
So Brian's in for his stop here, so we'll see how that goes now. So we can see the damage on the front of Heddersheet's car. Damon Fisher still with those internet issues, still having a bit of a blink like an eyelid.
Yeah.
And for Paul Burns, well, he will be swearing and sweating and trying to get this thing past Sean Cullen as soon as possible, because he does not want to go another lap stuck in the traffic where he knows those drivers who he was around inside of the top 5 are able to break away further than him.
And this is where the pressure cooker really sort of starts to apply, because these guys are coming together. Some of them flashing their lights in the back there too. So, yeah, they're going to, if they start and make desperate moves and things like that, this is where things can come unstuck
This
too.
has actually worked out well for Mick Clifton, though, because actually he's now in this battle with those guys who were inside of the top 10. So his strategy is somewhat played out for him here. But again, Cullen is playing the cork in the bottle scenario for them. And it's hurting them, because guys like Fewens and Viger are going to come out of pit lane ahead of them at this point of the race. And that traffic has cost Paul Burns, Mick Clifton, and Andrew Hoffman and Mikey Harland across that pit stop.
Yeah, I was just saying in the chat too, certainly some colourful on the comms. It was certainly colourful on comms. So, and here we look at Damon having a look at on inside of Reese DeGoey.
So Reese has kept going even after that moment. He hasn't come in just yet. Maybe he doesn't feel like there's too much damage on the car, but a bit of contact with Damon.
That was close. That could have been very...
I feel like your ancestors felt that one there, Brett. Did you even feel it as well? Was there some sibling telepathy at that point?
And interesting enough too, Heddersheet stayed out as well, so he obviously feels like his car's going okay enough to stay out there as well. So
Caparonis is in, and as is Skulls. So Allen has kept going. Rushworth's also in. So Trent Allen takes back the lead of this race. We expect him to be in the lead post pit stop here. Lap 27 of 41 at the moment for him. Blanchard, does he come in as Ricky Hyde and Vandermillen have also joined them? No, he keeps going. Randall keeps going. Cesar keeps going as well. What about Brenton O'Brien? Of course he does. Peter Baxter's kept going too. So Skulls, Caparonis, Hyde, Rushworth, Vandermillen all into pit lane. Where do they end up in comparison to Jason Fewens, Brian Minogue, who's a bit further up the road, and Chad Viger here? So the main one we're going to be focusing on here is Minogue for Matt Skulls and Jim Caparonis.
That was a little slide there as we come out of Murray's corner there, and side by side, he's going to hold him out there.
Oh, Jim's right on the pit exit line. He's got him. So a gain of position for Jim Caparonis, who comes out of pit lane ahead of Brian Minogue, but still behind Matt Skulls at this stage. And Jim wants to get this job done on Mulford at turn 2, but he can't quite get there just yet. He wants to try and put this car, this Phoenix Racing Team car of Tim Mulford, between him and Brian Minogue, because he knows this is now the battle for P3.
The hard thing too, he's on cold tyres, so he wants that. But I tell you what, he doesn't want to overcook it either. He needs those tyres to come up to temperature so he can get back into it as hard as he wants. But if he just cooks them a bit too early, he could be in a bit of strife.
And for Minogue, of course, he's had a lap on these tyres, so they're up to temp. He's able to push. And if Jim pushes too hard, well, these tyres, as you mentioned, they will overcook very, very quickly. It's a bit like a quick sear when you put the heat up a little bit too much on the pan. You throw the snags in and they're burnt within 2 minutes. It's, got to try and get those temperatures just right to go throughout the rest of the race as Allen's in. So Trent Allen comes into pit lane, lap 27 of 41. Does Blanchard follow him? Does Randall follow him at this point of the race as well?
How good is this?
I know.
This is starting to wind up good.
Yeah.
This is
They both go. So they both stayed out. Does Cesar stay out? He does. What about O'Brien? He stays out.
Yeah,
Does Baxter stay out as well? He does. So,
yep.
Now for Trent Allen, I think we know he's going to come out ahead of Skulls because of the natural gain he was going to get in the pit lane. How big's the gap going to be, though? That's the question, because Skulls is only just coming down towards Murray's. And as he runs through the final corner, Trent Allen is still in the pit box, and he's just dropped now. So that's a hell of a gain for the AITT Revolution E-Racing car as he exits pit lane in P7 on the road just ahead of Todd Duggan. Look at the gap that he now has over P2 in Matt Skulls. It's worked out to about 4 seconds is the gap post pit stops, and this race is now on for Matt Skulls to get up to the back end of that AITT entry of Trent Allen.
And that goes to show you, like he was sitting behind Jim Caparonis all that time, just biding his time, and that's the proof of his pudding that he's put out there at the moment. He's actually, he's done himself a justice, and he's got himself in a fantastic position. Jim's still trying to attack here. He hasn't quite got that job done.
Yeah, and the problem now is he's giving up some time to Trent and to Matty. And I mean, if he wants to try and get up further away from Brian, he's going to have to get a wriggle on here and try and get past Tim as soon as he can, or at least hope Tim that comes into pit lane to take his second stop and kind of releases him almost. So it's a little bit of crunch time for Jim, but if there is a safety car, he'll be back in it straight away, hot on the heels of Skulls and Allen at the front of the field.
Yeah, and this is where, like the tempo sort of starts to sort of rise up a bit. Like we come out pits, we know we're on slightly different strategies. Jim just gets sideways coming out of Forest Elbow onto that straight. That's going to hurt his top end speed down there a little bit, so he won't be able to get anything done down there. But just the pressure starts to build. Jim wants to make that move. He's coming out. So all these things sort of happen very, very quickly, so it's a matter of not getting overexcited and overdriving the car and just keeping the car underneath there and nice and stable.
Randall and Cesar and Duggan are all into pit lane now as well, so Blanchard's got another lap. He's gotten himself some extra points, or an extra point here for leading a lap of this race. How long does he go? We know that, or we calculated he can roughly go into maybe the early 30s on the laps. Does he run this thing dry and get the fresh tyres and have a nice short stint to the end of this race where the fresh rubber and the light car is going to be beneficial to him? This could pay off well. He may even find himself inside of the top 10 if this strategy plays dividends for Mr. Blanchard. O'Brien has also stayed out, as is Peter Baxter. So these guys are going long. And maybe they're going along in the hopes that the safety car is going to get called and they can get a nice short pit stop in and come straight back out of pits again without everyone running at full speed.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, like you said, you probably want to try and run it dry at this point because if a safety car does come out, you're in the box seat, you're ready to go.
So that's the gap between Skulls and Caparonis. It's roughly 4.5 seconds. As we ride on board with Mulford down through McPhillamy Park and in towards Skyline. and watch
you're on the limit
dance.
every year, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
You are on the limit. You know, you hold your breath,
Yeah.
you pucker up, and you're just hoping, as ironically you're the next car up the road from him here, Brett, but you're just hoping
no.
that you get through nice and clean.
I'll let him go by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smart move.
and that's yeah. Oh, look, I could see those guys were coming, and I did not want to get in their road. I wanted them all to have a clean run, and I thought, yeah, look, I mean, I'm not in a position at all down in 39th at the moment, just trying to console anything I can at this point. But I knew these guys were having a great run, so yeah, let them go, let them be free.
Yeah, just let him go, let him battle it out. No point holding them up at this stage. As Brett Taylor is trying to get this job done on header sheet, he's still carrying that damage. He still hasn't come in to commit to that second stop, so he's still committed to going long.
Yeah, obviously the car's not feeling. He's not feeling any effects of the car, so why come in?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, you're only going to hurt yourself if you do. If the car's still, running true.
Oh, we've got Mikey Harlan and Matt Muggleton down at turn 22. Muggleton wants the job done. Harlan outside line, gets it back again. So this battle's now starting to heat up a little bit here. They're in behind Hoffy and Clifton. So Muggleton trying to make moves forward. I have to say, first 2 races of this season, Matt's not quite living up to the expectations at the moment here, Brett. Did we maybe put too much pressure on him?
Oh, well, I didn't.
Well, when I say we, I mean me and John Van Ree and Scott Gamble.
Oh, look, I mean, look, anything can happen. Like, I mean, you can see what they've done in the past and try and go from that and hope that they sort of like live up to expectations, but you just don't know. I mean, as I was saying before, some of these drivers, I mean, you have a look at Holden out there, like he's having a great run, newcomer. We don't know what he's like, and that's what's going to happen, and people are going to lift, and how can you accurately predict what's going to happen? You can go from what's happened in the past and stuff like that, but there's plenty of good drivers that are going to take that challenge up to the top.
Let's have a look here. I want to double check this fuel.
Where's your late note, Pete?
Yeah, where's your late note? Why aren't you here, Pete?
Well, he is now.
He's taken 19.2, 29.9. I reckon Harlan's underfueled the car.
Well, this could be interesting. This could be building up.
I reckon he's underfueled it by maybe a lap, maybe 2. Because if it's 19.2, it's a 2.3 second fill rate. That's what, roughly 30 or 40 litres?
Well, he's going to be hoping for a safety car, isn't he?
Yeah, either a safety car or some tow. That's what he's going to need if he has underfueled. Because if it's 2.3, he's roughly put in 40 odd litres in the first stop, and then 29.9. That's roughly 60. He's underfueled the car by about 20 litres, I think. And yeah, he's had to let Matt go. I reckon he's having to save now in behind.
Yeah, well, there you go. And that's you don't really want to do that when you're racing, do you? But
No.
when you do all the calculations, that's what you've got to do. Tell you what, this is heating up with Mulford, Caperonis, Minogue and Hyde. That's a pretty close battle there going on at the moment.
Yeah, these guys
But
have
it
been...
has been all night. It has been for ages. But,
Yeah, they've been tucked up behind him now for quite a few laps, and maybe a little bit of frustration settling in for those 3 now, knowing that they, don't need another stop, but Tim does. That might be starting to get to them a little bit. Blanchy's gone even longer as well, by the way. He's gone now to lap 31 in the lead. O'Brien's followed, as is Baxter. If there's a safety car called, this could play into their hands quite nicely at this stage of the race. But yeah, I mean, Caperonis is, he'll be screaming to try and get past. Simon Haynes.
Yeah, you just read that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jace Fewens has gone round.
Oh no!
Up at Skyline and in towards the S's. Careful of backing it up.
And he's
Jace.
going back.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't roll back right on the racing line. Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh my god, Jace. Please,
That is
please,
a
no
tough
one
one.
hit him.
That's not a good spot. Just you don't want to get stuck there, but you know, unfortunately, it's you can't take anyone else out either. You know,
He's
and
still
he'd be
there.
spewing like,
Yeah.
look at him just dropping like a hammer,
Yeah, he is.
like
Baxter,
I did before,
Viger,
really.
Baxter, Viger, Mulford all into pit lane now as well, so they've finally taken their stops. Caperonis, Minogue and Hyde have finally been released, and Fewens gets going again. Oh, man.
I'll tell you what,
that-
there's nothing more frustrating than being stuck in a position like that, wanting, you know, you just want to get yourself back around and going again as his front bumper falls off. So there's nothing more frustrating not being able to get the car around, trying to make sure you don't take anyone out and all sorts of stuff, and get yourself back and going again. But he's back and going again now as we see McMillan coming in.
Yep, that front bumper is going to
Paul
be a
Burns
good...
also coming in.
He is coming in. Oh, he's got damage. I reckon they might have made contact.
Yeah, something's gone on
Wow.
there.
Well, that's big damage on that car. The front left wheel is hanging off as well.
Yep,
So-
that's actually deflated as well.
Yeah.
So.
That's a real... it's, you know, unfortunately, Bathurst doesn't have one, but Paul Burns has just given us Struggle Street, Bathurst, New South Wales, Australia. Unfortunately, there for Paul
Yeah.
Burns. So
He was running well too. He'd be kicking himself for that.
he will. Harland really on the fuel save now. 3.7 seconds now back off of Muggleton. And, well, this is what happens when you do your calculations in
Oh,
gallons.
he just rubbed that
and not-
wall in
yeah,
too,
he
I think.
has. Yeah, this is what happens when you do your fuel calculations in freedom units and not in the metric system. You underfuel your car. So, words to the wise, learn
Well-
leaders.
I don't know. I mean, I've just got this feeling. Is this all a precursor to something that's building up? You know, like we're getting, you know, we're within the 10 lap sort of to go. You know, people are going to start and get a little bit desperate. Things are going to happen. I've just got a feeling in my loins that things are going to get exciting.
Are you trying to tell us something, Brett, as you try and unlap yourself from Ranger Rushworth? You weren't
No.
able to.
No, not at all.
Are you trying to say something here about yourself, possibly?
Was it me?
I don't know. I
Oh.
can't remember. I'm trying to remember as we go along, to be honest with you. As Caperonis starts his next lap 33 of 41. The dogs are going ballistic at the door. I might have to shut the door, actually, but this battle is heating up for them. Mick Clifton, Andrew Hoffman,
he's getting
Matt
excited
Muggleton
as
battling
well.
too. Yeah.
The dog's getting excited. He can feel it as well. Things
Yeah.
are happening. Things are going to happen. So we're at lap 33 of 41 laps here at Bathurst. Second round, we're starting to close down, and things are starting to go on. We've got Blanchard up in front, O'Brien, Allen, Scholes, Caperonis, Minogue, Hyde, Vandermeulen, and Rushworth and Viger
Hey,
leading
there you
our
go.
top 10 at the moment.
You said the name right. Well done.
Yeah, I know. I stumbled on it for like
say
a split second.
say it
though.
enough times, and you get it. Then you get it correct. You know.
Yeah, no, I looked at it and I questioned myself straight away. That was the problem.
Oh, header sheets just ended up. Oh no, it said he crashed and he was in pit lane, but he's not. That's weird. I don't know how that's happened.
Oh, he might have had. Maybe he had a.
big
Did he
bleed.
have an internet dropout? Yeah.
I don't know, because he's still running, but now he's far and few between back in the field, so I'm not quite sure. But this battle's heating up for them. Rushy's done well. Get back inside the top 10 now. He's done his 2 stops, so he's actually corrected P7 at the moment, so he's actually ended up quite well off of this. There has been a moment, though, down at turn 3. That's Simon Haynes and Jeremy Bush. Big contact, and Haynes' car is not moving at the moment.
Yeah.
Could
That's
this-
stationary. Oh, careful.
Oh, careful, boys. Could this be the safety car that... Well, we spoke about Mikey Harlan. Could this be the safety car that he needs as Blanchard is in, but he's in the wall? How has this
There you
happened
go.
on the pit
Wow.
entry?
He's just got keen and just come unstuck. We're on a safety car now. I told you I felt it.
Yeah, you felt it in your loins. Wow, wowee. So Brent O'Brien has stayed out for another lap. The safety car is not on track yet, so he's actually now going to get an extra lap under his belt here, which will give him a point for leading a lap of this race. So that's played out well for Brenton. Trent Allen's been allowed past safety car. Everyone's going to get past the safety car as they traverse back around. We expect Brenton to come in at the end of this lap, and Trent Allen will be the corrected leader. Blanchard, though, having to waste the fast repair after the moment into pit lane, so he will not be happy about that. Where will he end up? He's P12 as he looks to exit pit lane. Here comes Baxter round the final corner. It's going to be tight between them. I think Blanchy just got him. That's tight, but he's tucked in behind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I did hear a call on. I think I did hear a call from one of the guys there just confirmed who got that.
Oh, Harlan's in pits. And Hedesheet has absolutely blown up the entry.
Too.
Oh, he is. He's blown the engine.
He's smoking.
I reckon his money shifted as he's tried to clutch it. 'Cause remember, he was maximum fuel save. I reckon his money shifted and the thing's gone.
Well, he'll be kicking himself.
He will indeed. As O'Brien will come round towards pit entry. Allen looks to get picked up as well under safety car conditions. We're going to take this time to give thanks to our title sponsor, Racecraft Simulations, by showing off our wonderful advertisement from them. So we appreciate them coming on board once again this season and supporting the veterans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very soon after these short messages from Racecraft. Great to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Racecraft Simulations for continuing to support the series once again. If you're interested in a rig and you're in the WA or Perth area, be sure to head over to 16 Grogan Road, have a chat to John and the team. You can even test out some of the rigs on their showroom floor as well. And if you've got the Dosh, invest in the PT1. That thing is immense. It's epic. You'll see a rundown of it at the end of the show of the last Racecraft that plays. You get to see it in all of its glory. It's one beautiful piece of machinery. A massive shout out though to all of our other series sponsors too: Logitech G, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, Player One Sim Gear, Nova Sim Sports, Sud Speed Gloves, LGC Images, and Chubby Buns Burgers for providing us with the Driver of the Day award. Last week, we gave it to Adrian Zeal of Team AJR. At the moment, I think the front runner for me, Brett, is probably Andrew Rushworth right now. I think he is having an immense race. I think nothing against Andrew. I think he's racing above his caliber at the moment, which is great to see because it means that he's improving. But there's other guys in the 10, the likes of Vandermeulen, O'Brien, Viger, Cesar, even the guys just outside in Damon, Blanchy, Baxter, Randall. I'd almost expect them to be there. I think if Baxter or Randall can get inside the top 10, I think they'd begin to challenge Rushworth. But I think at this stage, he's probably my favourite at the moment to nominate for that award.
Yes. Well, to be quite honest, I haven't even thought about it, and I'm just been looking at what's been going on track, and it's a hard one at the moment. I better put my thinking cap on and come up with a name or two myself.
Do we give it to Thomas Freeman for driving the safety car?
Buddy, he can be the second one to Chinny getting a drive of the day.
Yeah. Oh, Brett Taylor Chase. What have they done under safety car? Or is it? Oh no, they're just pulling it up. That's fine. I thought they might have actually had a crash. Come on, boys. We're doing about 30 here. You're fine. Yeah, I think to break it down, I think at the moment, I think for me, I think Rushy's probably the front runner. I think you probably give a bit of a nod to O'Brien. One of his strategies has actually played off. I think Sips has had a pretty good race as well, and then even Damon, he's hung out there. If he can get back inside the 10, he could be one. I think, you know.
Well, I mean, and look, he's actually put a decent race together, you know, and like we were talking about last week, is that sometimes his pit strategy lets him down, but obviously it's worked for him this time around. He's still in the top 15. He's 11th at the moment, so he's doing quite well. He's down 3 spots from his starting position, but, you know, he'd be happy with that.
He would at this stage. There you go, Hello. We've got positions gained and lost in this race. Biggest gainer at the moment is Matt Stoyles up 18 positions. The biggest loser, unfortunately, a bit further down is Paul Burns, who's down 29. After an unfortunate night on the road for him. He is still out on track, though, is Paul. But, nights to forget, unfortunately for him. Mikey Harwin is in pit lane after blowing that engine as well.
Hoffy's saying in the chat that we should give it to Jim as he should have got it last week.
We don't give it to the race. We don't give it to the race winner, Hoffy, unless it's the final round. That's the rule. It's the rule that we made last season. You know, and
well, but, I mean, he's in the top.
He is in the top
3 at the moment. He's up 1 spot. He has driven a pretty good race far. So I mean, hey, look, I might jump on the Caperonis bandwagon, and I might say I'm going to put my vote up for Jim.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I do too, to be fair. Jim's a great guy. Well, we'll see what names we come up with for the end. It's all also going to be dependent on how they actually finish, not how they run at this stage. We also don't like to give it to those who necessarily go up a bunch of positions, because it means that if they'd actually qualified, they probably would have been around that position anyway. Namely, probably Rick Viger. He just kind of struggled in qualifying, I think, being up 13. But he's had a great race.
Well, why don't we ask the chat to put up one name?
That's not going to work. You know why it's not going to work?
Because everyone votes for themselves.
Either they vote for themselves or they're going to vote for their teammate. And realistically, with the amount of people that are watching, where, you know,
how many are watching?
At the moment, we've got 35 people watching as we're under safety car.
Nice.
But yeah, I feel that everyone. Well, we're not taking the votes just yet. We're more or less saying for nominations
to
put forward, and then you would select between the nominations that we give. I think.
I just like.
I think Jim's
the
fair.
Spanner in the engine.
Yeah, I think Jim's very, very fair to put forward. I think Rushy's fair. We could even argue Vandermeulen's had a very good race as well. Minogue, I think, has had a great race too, to be up there still.
And he suffered a mispronunciation of his name a number of times.
He did. He did indeed.
And as Tim Allen's almost bringing him through the chase at the moment, we're almost getting underway again.
You've just mispronounced Trent Allen's name as Tim Allen once again. So we go from one driver to another one, Brett. There we go.
Yep. It's going to happen all the time. Don't you worry, guys. Sorry, Trent.
So when does Trent go? I think he goes early, and he has gone early. So we've gone green flag running down towards the final corner as Trent Allen flows through the final corner there and leads us on to lap 37 of 41. So 5 laps to go. 5 laps to sprint this car to home. And for Trent Allen, it is 5 laps to survive before claiming another win in the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans Split 2. He took his first win last season, ironically, in round 2, Brett, at Brands Hatch. What a way to get his campaign started if he could go back-to-back in seasons by getting a win in round 2, as Matt Muggleton's gone round at the first corner. So Muggleton is round, and it's heartbreak for him once again. But
Trent's managed to nearly pull a second out so far. He's about 0.8 of a second up the road on Skulls. So that's going to sort of play into his hands quite nicely if he can just start and work on a bit of a gap there as he comes over the top. Also probably just waiting for these tyres to come up to full temperature again.
Yeah, as Trent runs us down towards Skyline. Skulls hot on his heels at the moment. As we tiptoe our way down the hill, there's battles brewing all throughout the field, including Jason Fewens, who's on the comeback train at the moment in behind Jeremy Bush. So he's got big damage on this car. Bush, who we saw get into a bit of a moment with Haynes, that's what caused the safety car earlier on in the race.
So these guys are going to want to try and make up any position they can to get some extra points, knowing the fact that they should be further up the field than they are right now. So they're going to want to push.
Oh, Stephen Banks is saying the commentary team is the drivers of the day. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it. Unfortunately, actually, I should make this point. Would it be a wouldn't you know who won the pony scenario if Jim Caparonis won the Chubby Buns Burgers Driver of the Day award? Like, nothing against Jim, as Fewens is wanting to put the pressure on here. Nothing against Jim. It is his award that we hand out. So,
you can imagine him rocking up to go, big move on the inside there. Did they get through?
He wants this move, even with damage on their cars. He wants this move on Bush. But he's not. Yeah, but there was someone further up the road there.
They're running side by side going into Hell Corner now. I think that was.
There it is. That's Mulford and Duggan.
No, it was further up. Yeah. So it looks like he's got that move done. They were running side by side through the last corner and the first corner. So he's been managed to pull that move off. Things are heating up.
They are.
Yep. We've only got a few laps to wind down now. So things are really going to warm up now.
There goes Fewens.
As you see, Fewens, he's got through on the inside. Yep.
He has. So
nice move.
He's finally got that job done on Jeremy Bush. Further up the road, Trent Allen sets a fastest lap of the race, 2:06.9. Matt Skulls is now 1.1 seconds in behind him at the moment. Jim Caparonis has got Brian Minogue hot on his chuff down towards Skyline. 0.2 of a second separates the podium, or the final podium position in P4. Then we got Vandermeulen in behind them. Then Chad Viger, Halil Cesar, Chris Blanchard in behind them with Peter Baxter, Shane Randall, Mick Clift at the moment, Andrew Hoffman, Michael Quain, Rick Viger, Tim Mulford, Todd Duggan, Matt Stoyles. Minogue's had a moment at the final corner and he's gone off into the wall at out of podium position possibilities for the SLS racing car. Into the wall for Brian Minogue.
Shame we didn't get footage of that. I would like to have seen what happened there, whether they were going for a move or what happened there. But that's unfortunate. He was on for a good finish then. And Jim would be taking a big sigh of relief now, knowing that the pressure's slightly off him now. But these other guys are going to want to bring it to him as well. So Vandermeulen and O'Brien. Hyde and Vandermeulen. Jeez, I'm going well so far. Not my strong point.
I do like Scotty's point there, Brendan O'Brien be a fair candidate for driver of the day, from split 3 to a top 10 in split 2, so a similar scenario as Andrew Rushworth, and one position away from a top 5. So I think at the moment our 3 candidates would be Caperonis, O'Brien, and Rushworth, and I think do we chuck in a cheeky Peter Baxter to make it 4, or do we chuck in Halil?
Definitely. Yep.
You know. So, all right. Well, we'll figure that out before the end of the race. As O'Brien is running well here, P6. Fisher still having those blinking issues ahead of Chris Blanchard at the moment, so he'll be hoping that, or maybe hoping that Fisher actually disconnects so Blanchard can get inside of the top 10. There are some great battles happening all throughout the field. Adrian Zeal's got Alistair Bales hot on his heels at the moment. We had this one mentioned in the chat earlier from Reese Degoe, so we'll show it off just for a quick moment here as they run up towards turn 3. Matt, good comeback here from Matt McMillan, to be fair. He's only 3 spots down from where he started after that blunder in pit lane due to the safety car. So he's done well to come back at this point of the race. Bush now hot on the heels of Brett Taylor up towards Skyline. They've got Derek Lovegrove in behind them as well. So the mid-pack is heating up at the moment. Rick Feiger's got Mulford on him.
Well, I was just about to say that the car's going to be starting getting low. If you're looking to see Bush into the wall, and here we go.
It's heated up. Cars. Oh, McMillan's gone round. Cars are involved. And there you can see.
Track's blocked.
It is. Track is jammed up at the S's in towards the Dipper. One simple mistake with no time to hold the brakes, and all hell breaks loose at the top of the mountain. It's heartbreak for those like Jeremy Bush and Matt McMillan who are on the comeback train in this race. With 2 laps to go, though, Trent Allen has got 1.9 seconds over Matt Scholes, 3.3 over Caperonis, and Ricky Hyde is just ahead of Sean Vandermillen in the battle for P4.
Oh, it's all heated right up here, but I'll tell you what, this front back now is spread out. All these guys will be breathing a very big sigh of relief, knowing the fact that the pressure's slightly off. All they've got to do now is the next 2 laps on the penultimate lap is just get their cars over and down the mountain another couple of times, and they'll be very, very happy where they're staying.
We're gonna show off this battle for the second last lap, since Reese really wants us to look at this one between himself and Sean Cullen for P26. So across this lap, we'll watch this battle. They've got Glenn Corbett in behind them, who's now fixed the front of his car whilst he's been in pit lane, so that's good to see from Glenn. We run up towards turn 2.
So Reese having a little poke on the inside there. Can he get anything done here, or is Cullen going to hold him out? Side by side they go through. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle from Reese. That's going to allow Sean to come get a little bit more pace off the corner, sorry. Corbett having a look on the inside. Look there too. A lot of smoke as well. We just passed through. This is a great little battle too.
It is. And these are the sorts of battles that we don't really get to appreciate all the time, because unfortunately it is a bit further back in the field and this late in the race. But I did want to take the time to at least show it off for this second to last lap before we head up to watch Trent on his final run, on the swan song for the final lap.
And like you're saying, Hamish, though, that these battles like this that happen up and down the whole field, but it is hard when you've got nearly 50 drivers in a field to cover everything. And there is some fantastic racing going all along up and down the field. So we try and cover everything, but yeah,
sometimes our hand does get forced by some things that can happen on track very late in the race, but we do have a bit of a free period now to watch this battle, as they've now run away from things and begun just to spread just a little bit. But for Trent Allen, he has now begun his final lap of this race. Matt Scholes, Jim Caperonis in behind them. Vandermeulen has now gotten past Ricky Hyde for P4. And this battle for P4 is not quite over yet. Look at how many cars are in this battle. That's P4 back to P10 of Damon Fisher. Any one of these guys could get this position now, Brett.
Yep. Look, there's just only a lap ago. Big things happen over the top of the mountain. So these guys are now going to start to be winding up a wick a little bit and trying anything they can to make up another couple of positions. Or they might be happy to consolidate. What do you do? But if you see a guy step out, you're going to try and take that opportunity for sure.
they run up towards Reed Park, there's Caperonis. There's Van der Meulen. And Cohen behind. Run through Sulman. Oh, big scrape of the wall there from Ricky Hyde. So it's
everything's hanging out here.
It is maximum pressure moments like this which make or break you. Do you crack under the pressure or do you get turned into a diamond in the rough of this field? For Van der Meulen, he's got a nice 0.6 second gap, but it does mean that Hyde still has the toe down Conrod. Where's Trent? He's just come round Forest Elbow. So
Trent's done an amazing job.
He's done a great job.
He has really unwound this race to perfection. He has done a fantastic job.
And for himself and for AI Double T Racing, 2 seasons in a row now of split 2 for Trent Allen, and for 2 seasons in a row, his first win of the season is going to come in round 2 of the championship as he runs down towards Murray's Corner. For the 41st and final time tonight, Trent Allen will take victory lane for split 2 with Matt Scholes on the podium back in form for 801. And Jim Caperonis will remain the leader of the championship as he comes home P3. Van der Meulen and Hyde make up the top 5. O'Brien into P6. Viger, Cesar, Rushworth and Fisher for the 10. Blanchard comes home P11, just outlasting Peter Baxter, Shane Randall, Mick Clifton and Andrew Hoffman for the 15. Michael Quain, Tim Mulford, Rick Viger, Todd Duggan and Troy Sipple. For your top 20, Jason Fewens, Matt Stoyles, Brett Taylor, Derek Lovegrove, Alistair Bales for the top 25. Reese DeGoey is looking to get past Cullen on the line. Drag race from them. What an end to that one there. DeGoey gets P26, Cullen P27, Corbett P28, Hasler, Riali, Zeal, Fisher, yourself, that's yourself, Brett, Minogue, Haynes, the final running order. Burns a couple laps down, as is Mikey Harlan as well. But for Trent Allen, it's a perfect night on the road, and for him, he goes from pole to P1 in the race standings. And for Jim Caperonis, he gets himself, well, another podium on the books, but he extends his championship lead.
What a fantastic race. That had everything in it, you know, like, that was a great finish. You know, there was plenty of action all the way up and down the field. Congratulations to Trent. You know, he well-deserved win on that. That was fantastic.
And speaking of intense action, we mentioned earlier in the race we were going to watch a certain driver's entry into pit lane. We're going to watch this while once I get it going, we'll get the nominations up in the chat for driver of the day. But I've got to find where here it is, right here. So we're going to watch this in slow motion. Classic, you know, TV1, Brett, entry into pit lane. And as this happens, I'm going to write in the nominations for driver of the day.
Here we go, and it is quite a fast approach to pit lane, and then you've got to really hit the anchors big time. Oh, look at this sideways. Here we go. Just locked up the rears, and he's gone into the sandbags. Oh, that's big. That is really big.
Oh, that was pure Tony Hawk Pro Skater riding the tire barrier there for Tim Mulford.
Nice little 180. I'm not a skater, so I don't know all the technical terms, but I know we did a 180 there, so well, he's pulled that off quite well.
He has done quite well, to be fair. Names going to the chat now. We only want to see one of these 4 names from you. You can only vote once per driver, or you can only vote once in general, but we only want to see one name.
We're going to add another one. We're going to add 4?
Yeah, I've got 4, don't worry. I've got 4. Jim Caperonis, Bretton O'Brien, Andrew Rushworth, or Peter Baxter are your options in the chat here this evening. Be sure to get your votes in as we find a little bit of B-roll for us for the end of this race as Tim starts to pick up the pieces as well.
And that's got to hurt. Look at him sitting there just watching all the cars go past.
You've just got to wait. You know, you've just got to wait at that point. It's real bad luck.
Yep.
So he went from that to getting quite a nice pass done on Glenn Corbett later in the race, but
Glenn Corbett out sideways big time.
Oh, that was the moment where he went into the wall. So we missed this one, remember, and we caught the back end of it. That was how he caught the front of the car off as well.
Easy to do too. Easy to do.
We're getting a lot of mixed opinions. No, you can't put skulls in. You can only put in one of those 4 names. You can't put no adding names to our nominations. We do not accept adding names to our nominations. Thank you.
You don't run the show, we do.
Yeah, that's right. So we've currently got 4 for Jim, 3 for Brenton O'Brien, and 1 for Andrew Rushworth. So now another for Jim from Mikey Harland actually. So I think it's looking pretty clear cut. In the chat at least, that for tonight's Chubby Buns Burgers Driver of the Day award, wouldn't you know who won the pony? It's going the way of Jim Caperonis of Southern Cross Racing.
Burgers for everyone.
Yeah, burgers for everyone. I reckon now this is now time for Jim to release or to open up his Victorian site. I reckon.
Or actually open one up in Mudgee.
Yep. Yeah, wine country gets Chubby Buns. Why not? Have a nice little Shiraz with your Chubby Buns burger. In fact, the great man's in the green room right now. Let's have a quick chat to him, the championship leader and P3 on the road tonight, as well as the self-titled driver of the day, Jim Caperonis. Mr. Caperonis, you've won the pony in the raffle. I think the other end of this spectrum though for this award is no one's booing in the crowd for this actually, unlike people who have rigged raffles before. But congratulations, P3 on the road. You keep the orange number next to your name for another round, and you move on to Mid-Ohio next week for 150 Ks of quite possibly pure madness.
Yeah, thanks guys. It was a great race actually. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't done I know it's everybody's favourite track. I can't say I've done as many laps as everybody else, but I really enjoyed it. It was good fun. Congratulations to Trent and also Scalzi. They were just too quick for me, mate. I just couldn't keep up, especially after I burnt those tyres out chasing Timmy Mulford. God bless him. He it was hard trying to get around him, and but it was really enjoyable. So thank you.
What happened to O'Brien? Was it O'Brien who was behind you with a lap or so to go?
Yeah. So
you know what happened there?
Brendan O'Brien or Minogue, you mean?
Minogue.
Minogue. Sorry, Minogue.
Before just off the safety car restart.
When we were on the yellow, I was actually quite worried because I knew my tyres were cooked. So I thought, and he was really racy. He drove beautifully, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to hold this bloke out? But unfortunately, he put it into the wall, and I was relieved. I'm not going to lie. But I knew that Ricky was coming up behind me as well, and I just had to try and consolidate the position. I didn't try and push too hard. I just wanted to get through the rest of the laps, being honest with you.
So he did that all on his own, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, bugger. Because he was coming. He was coming.
Yeah,
and
I
as
didn't
you just
even
said
realise. I didn't even realise till half.
Oh, there it is there. Yeah, we're just watching it now. Jim, you're there. We just see he's just locked the rears and the car's turned on him. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. But, mate, congratulations. Well done. And look,
Thanks,
you've
Brad.
had a fantastic start to the season. Just keep on going, mate. You know, put it all together.
Yeah,
Let's
thanks.
see it happen.
Yeah, it's been good. Lucky I've got a good team around me. You know, the boss is really good, so he's still helping me constantly. He's helping the whole team out, which is amazing. We run around together, we practice together. You probably see us out on track. Yeah, we do whatever we can, you know, trying to keep these old legs keep going. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Anyone you want to thank?
Well, you know, I look. You know, we've had Dane Palmer and and all of the 47th Brigade constantly coming and supporting vets every week. You know, week in, week out. It's not just Split 2. They watch Split 3. They watch Split 4. So I just want to give a big shout out to them in Ukraine. You know, for supporting us. I just want to thank the team for backing me, and I just want to thank Chubby Buns, Flash Me Photo Booths, and all the drivers actually in Split 2. Very, very, I don't know, clean driving. It's been very good. I'm really happy. I thank you guys, of course, and of course Vets for bringing out such a great show. Really appreciate it, guys.
Jim, you are a gentleman and a scholar. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you in the booth once again. Best of luck at Mid-Ohio next week, where you'll once again go into the next round as the championship leader. We'll see how long you can hold it out for with that orange number next to your name.
Yeah, go Jim. Go
Jim. You got it.
You'll be right, son.
Guys.
You'll be right, son.
Love you guys. Do a great job. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Jim. Best of luck next week. We look forward to seeing how you go. Great to have Mr. Caperonis in here with us. I feel like Jim at the moment is the people's champion, Brett. I feel like he is the people's unless they race in the series and they're in contention, he is the people's favorite for this at the moment.
100%.
And
100%.
and to be honest, if it were to come down, not to pick any favorites, if it were to come down between three drivers at the end of the season, I think Trent Allen, Jim Caperonis, Matt Scholes is a mouth-watering championship battle that could be an all-timer. You add Ricky Hyde to that. You add Van der Meulen. You add others as well who could maybe sneak up there from time to time. And we could really start to form one of the best ends to a championship. Now, it's very early on. We're nowhere near the end yet.
Oh.
It will fly by. Don't you worry about that. But I think it's an exciting prospect of how this battle can now start to materialise in terms of championship standings. But we've got some races to worry about first before we really know who's a part of this meal deal that's on offer for us to battle it out for this championship.
Oh, Hamish, I think we are in for one hell of a treat in this series. I think we've got, like you said, there's some names there and that are all in contention to bring this championship to the end. And we're going to have some surprises. There's going to be some things happen, and it's just going to be fantastic to watch it unfold. So make sure you tune in every week. We're finishing now, but make sure you tune in every week and see how all your favourite drivers are going, because this is going to be one hell of a series.
It's going to be one that you guys do not want to miss. The first two rounds have already given us some absolutely incredible, memorable moments across the start of this season, through Jim Caperonis' first win in Vets last week at Sebring to tonight, Trent Allen going back-to-back in Season 22 and Season 23 of winning the Round 2 race. Last season it was at Brands Hatch, this season it's at Bathurst. Can he make the whole season, and can he make it stick and bring the challenge to Mr. Caperonis at the moment? The championship battle's heating up, and it's only going to get better and better all throughout this season, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, though, I did not mean to bring up that one yet. Next week, as we mentioned, we're out at the absolutely wonderful not Canadian Tire. We're at the wonderful Mid-Ohio.
Hamish, it's all right. I make mistakes. You can make mistakes too.
It's fine. Now, the reason that I get confused between the two sometimes, number one is both tracks were my first two league racing tracks in OSR Devs.
Ah, very good.
My first two league races were at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and at Mid-Ohio. And ironically, we get to do both this season, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a big challenge next week. We're in for sprint round action with 150Ks on offer for you. It's not obviously the sprint format where you run two races. It's just that it's one of our shortest races of the season. We've got a couple of 150 races. This season, though, is the first time in a little while that we actually have two 300K races on offer. The next one is coming up at Daytona later on in the season. But for next week, though, at Mid-Ohio, tough test for these drivers, a tough test for each split, because it's going to go one of two ways, Brett. We're either going to have a race where it's going to come down to your strategy and how well you can survive early, or it's going to come down to how much carnage is there and how long can you survive for across the whole race. And that's you're gonna feel that within the first two laps. I think you're gonna know what sort of race you got for yourself within those first 2 or 3 laps. It's the nature of the beast with Mid-Ohio. You're either gonna have something that's clean and you get great battling, maybe a little bit of follow the leader in the middle, or you're going to get carnage and safety cars, stop-start, strategy goes out the window. It's all about how well can you survive the challenge that is Mid-Ohio.
It is going to be one interesting race when we line that one up into the machine to play for everybody. It's going to be another great battle, and I think that's going to be the one. This is going to be the race that actually starts and sets the tone for the rest of the series. because we've seen what's happened in the first two, of course. So we don't know what's happened in the third. But are we going to get a shock? Are we going to get someone else up the front? We're going to see another player in the mix. Or is the cream that's currently rising, is that going to stay on the top?
Well,
These are the questions that are going to be answered next week.
The news that's just broken is Sean Vandermillen will not be here for Mid-Ohio next week. So it means that, he's going to have some work to do later in the season when he does return. The first half of this season, it's looking tasty. Mid-Ohio next week, Donington Park the week after, and then Barber Motorsports Park for round 5. Last half of the season, we've got Winton, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Daytona, Interlagos, and VIR. By the time we leave Barber, we're going to figure out who's stuck in Charlotte's Web, and we're going to find out who's run away and is in the championship battle. I think it's going to be one where these first 5 races are very crucial to drivers' championship hopes. If they can then do well at Winton and at Mosport, they'll set themselves up well for Daytona for 300Ks. So it's a tough season. It's a tough calendar. It's one that's going to test drivers as well. But I am so looking forward to the rest of this season, calling it alongside you, Brett. And I think next week it's going to be one of, if not possibly, although it's going to be hard to beat because Bathurst was actually pretty good, and so was Sebring last week. So we're currently laying the bricks for a very, very strong season across the board.
Oh, and I think that's what's going to happen, Hamish. Like I said, the first 2 races have been and done and dusted, and they've been great races. And I just think this season is just going to build and build and build. And it's just, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Make sure next Saturday night. Yeah, next Saturday night, get your popcorn, get your scotches, get your beers, get your whatever, jump on and let's all enjoy what's going to unfold.
Well, it's going to be a season where maybe some of the races are ones that aren't so spectacular viewing on the night, but when you watch it from round 1 to round 10, you understand how much intensity there actually is involved in that race and how crucial it is. And it may be the strategy game. It may come down to strategy. I love a strategy game race. I'm a big fan of endurance racing. That's one of the reasons for it. And it is good to see some on-track battles too. But sometimes the races where they're really clean and it's all about how well you can do, those are the championship building races that you have for yourself. So Mid-Ohio next week, you guys do not want to miss it. It'll be live right here on the V8 Veterans channel and the Infinity Broadcasting channel as well. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, the bell icon as well. If you're watching on either channel, or even do it on both channels, you help support the broadcaster and the league as well. If you're subscribed on the league channel, you have access to the Split 3 and Split 4 broadcasts too. And if you're on the Infinity Broadcasting channel, you have access to all of our series that we broadcast over there, alongside the V8 Veterans Split 2 action as well. Big thank you there goes out to all of our series sponsors, including Racecraft Simulations, the title sponsor of the series, as well as Logitech G, Parramatta, Isuzu Ute, Player One Sim Gear, Nova Sim Sports, Sud Speed Gloves, LGC Images, and Chubby Buns Burgers for supporting us with the Driver of the Day award this week. When you know who won the pony, it went towards Jim Caperonis. But next week, it may be you. But I've been Hamish Munro with Brett Fisher once again. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you being here with us. We'll see you guys next week for Mid-Ohio for round 3. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Can't wait to hear those engines roar. Hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, tempers rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, tempers rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. They're gonna roll. Ooh, they're gonna roll.
The Racing Series is a new milestone in Logitech G.
All the great old wheels, the G29, the G920, the G923, they all have their own unique way of connecting to each other, but there's no room for expansion with those products.
So the question arose was, what if we were to give the opportunity for the racer to switch out from a drifting wheel to a GT rim?
With the wheel hubs that we've created, that's got a very specific button set, but you can replace any of the steering wheels.
And the real lovely aspect to this was we could give the user, driver and the racer the opportunity to experience different genres of race.
That allows drivers to craft high quality, customized setups that resonate with your individual racing style.
When we start with the design, we always start sketching. Very often, once we've got sketches, we start discussing with engineering.
We had 3 rounds of engineering testing or user testing where we invited in users from sim racing, and every single round of feedback we refine, the product based on what they tell us.
In this sim racing lab, again, we're going to use data to really analyze what a driver needs. We've used everything from eye tracking to the inputs from the pedals, the inputs from the, let's say, input devices, the wheel and the pedals, the shifter. We're taking that and we're compiling it so that we can build different products based on those individuals' needs for all consumers and all drivers.
I don't know of anyone else in the industry that's actually doing this kind of research into their products to see how their products are affecting performance of their users.
We've built the product to make sure that it's as reliable as possible.
So the innovations in engineering that I'd say we're most proud of is the sequential handbrake and shifter toolless changeover. This is now a patented system, so it's really easy for the user to just switch between modes.
If you give people the tools to do what they want, they will.
They will just go off and have fun.
Introducing the Racekraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with the 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a Racecraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP SideNet to finish off the experience in the PT1. The Racecraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no-compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.